It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day is a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? It is 7 o'clock. It is Friday. Your boy here is Mo Delgado. This is the New Norm 2.0. Thank you for
neighbor.
chiming in. As you see the echoes.
Won't you be?
It's the voices. I guess it's the voices in my head, right? So to speak. So, welcome to the show, everybody. It's always last minute things that I need to do just temporarily, but I'm hoping that everyone had a splendid day. Let me change the colors here. I need to change it up. The yellow is okay, but let me see if I can change it up just a tad bit before we get into the serious mode. And yeah, I like the little teal action, little summertime teal action. Let's do that. Okay. Make sure. Okay. Got to make sure it goes public. So whoever would like to come on and comment on the show can. All right. It's 7 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. For those already tuned in, anybody who's eagerly anticipating this show, welcome to the show. Anybody who hasn't, it's all right. It's all good. I'm guaranteed that you're going to leave this show feeling a little better about yourself in the world than you did in the past, or encouraged to do something that you weren't thinking about in the past. So, I'm Mo Delgado. This is the New Norm. This is the internet-based talk show that brings you into the conversation. Today's topics. Let's see what we're going to talk about here. There's a few things. First off, let me tip my hat as I take it off always at the end of the show or at the beginning of the show. Depends on where you're looking at. For those of you mamas out there, I hope you enjoyed your Mother's Day. It's extremely important that you enjoyed your Mother's Day, because without you, there's no us. No matter how much people like to believe so. But without you, there is no us. And I want you to feel special. So this Mother's Day, I know I did a little something for the moms in my life. I made a meal. I was able to bless them with something that I know they enjoy. Every mom seems to enjoy seafood, but my mother, my biological mother, is very particular with hers. So I had to make sure she had her lobsters. My mother-in-law is not as particular, but I know she likes certain things more than she likes others. So I made sure she had crab's legs, king crab's legs. And then the mother in my home, my wife, she loves the lollipops, the little lamb lollipops. I made sure she had that. And all of them had a little seafood tortellini that they were able to enjoy with their meal alongside anything else and flowers and other stuff. So, and my son got busy in the kitchen with me. So it's becoming a tradition for us. And I wanted to see if I can get the picture that I had for one Mother's Day in my mom's house. My son was not even a year old. He was just born, about a month, a little bit over a month old. He was born in April. So I had him in a sack. It's like a knapsack, but a type of stuff the baby carry. I forget what they call. I just remember the company's Bjorn. And I had him carrying on my chest while I was cooking, and it was similar. That meal was for my mom during Mother's Day, and I was getting busy there. So I would love to have taken a picture side by side 18 years later, him and I cooking for Mother's Day now versus him and I cooking for Mother's Day back then. It was really cool. But the tradition continues. Forgive me. Seems I bit my tongue. Seems like it. I don't know when. Got teeth issues when you're getting older, and they seem to always poke out and make it a little difficult for you to be able to speak your regular languages. So if I sound like I got shit in my mouth, I don't. My tongue seems a little bit raw. So as I'm going along, hopefully you guys can follow through. If not, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to slow it down. And still, if not, then that's your problem, not mine. We can work on it. So let's talk about some of the issues that I wanted to highlight this week. One of the main issues is gun violence. I ran across this interesting report on Reuters, Reuters. It did a national report, a national survey on gun violence. And they were looking at it from different perspectives, like how many altercations seem to be taking place on a daily basis. And they said at that time, which was done virtually 60 days ago, somewhere 60 days ago, they said reports suggest 5 gun-related situations have happened every day since January 1st, every day in the nation, at least 5. So on an average of 5 situations, a gun is pulled, whether it's by an officer or a civilian. A gun is pulled, and 1 out of every 3 altercations end up with one person getting shot, one or more people getting shot. You've heard about over 140 different mass shootings have taken place in United States. We are the most violent nation on the planet. However, our decree is always about peace and justice. And we continue to make it seem like we're the home of the brave and home of the free and the brave. However, we're also the home of the most incarcerated population on the planet. So that's the duality of America. It seems that we try to support or celebrate a certain mantra, but the reality is that we're totally opposite of what our mantra suggests. So we need to hit a reset button and focus on those real things that we need to. But until that time, I'm going to implore everybody, be very careful of who you interact with on the streets. You never know how someone's overzealous manners, their insensitivity, their lack of patience, their criminality, their mental health may put them on edge to the point where they need to pull a gun on you for the stupidest things. So don't become a victim, be intelligent about it. And then I'm still going to say this because this is the nation that we're living in, United States of America. If you can afford a gun, buy one. Register it properly. Get a proper license to have one and have the necessary bullets for it. Because ultimately the protection that you have, we can't always rely on the systems for protection that are supposed to be available for all of us. We can't always do. It's an imperfect. Some of the situations as we've seen, the people who are supposed to protect us are preying on us. Some of the individuals that you think have our back aren't. With that being said, segue, 29 pages just being reported as submitted to the federal courts as a lawsuit implying sexual misconduct by a local person and people who are identified in that lawsuit also include the same people identified before, which is the present mayor, his wife who was a principal, and some other persons on the school board, and they're identified in this lawsuit. I would implore you, let me see if I can pull it up, if I can show you where to go, and in doing so, you're able to research this information because ultimately, we want justice for these children. All the children who may have been victims in this situation, they deserve justice. No child ever deserves to be preyed on by the ill. No child should ever succumb to someone's ill ways. And then that person who has put themselves in that position, that person who's a predator should not be defended by anyone. So as we move forward and justice is sought, let's keep those children in prayer because ultimately those children are our children. And when we keep turning our cheeks, we are equally at fault. We're the culprits here. Our society is a culprit. We are all allies in this whole situation when we should not be. And let's get busy with this whole nonsense. Too many of us are defending these predators. Too many people think it's okay for them to trespass on younger people. Well, we've seen how young girls of 14 years old have interacted with someone who's 18 years old, or 15 or 16 has interacted with someone who's 18 years old. Although that doesn't seem to be a large gap in age, there's a large gap in mentality. There's a large gap in potential. As they get older, that potential grows. Now, the illnesses that we're talking about in this situation appear to be a man in his 20s who is targeting children in grade school. There's a large gap in there. And this man is targeting young boys. There's a lot of issues that have to be dealt with, a lot of answers that need to be provided. And at the ultimate, justice needs to be had. But I'm gonna send this clarion call out to all of you jokers out there who are defending this piece of shit, defending these predators in hiding. All of you out here who think it's better to protect who you want to believe and what you want to believe and avoid the truth, we're going to pray for you, because ultimately you're going to burn from the same fire as that person who did this is going to burn in hell from. So you're going to have to answer to this. So if I see you out here, don't smile in my face, please, because I'm not going to treat you the same way. I'm going to pray for you because I need to, because ultimately we all need to in a society, because anytime a child suffers from this, we're all at fault in one aspect or another. Either we're too easily subjecting ourselves to believe that people are responsible, or we love to believe that someone else is have to be responsible for our children, when we need to be more advocates, better advocates. We need to ensure that the schools are doing exactly what they need to, that the children are treated with safety, placed in a real safe atmosphere, treated with respect, given all the rights and privileges that children deserve, and help them to feel safe. And then also to provide that for the teachers themselves, to give them an opportunity to have an atmosphere where they can be the best they possibly can, to provide the best education to the children who deserve the best we possibly can give them. So we all somewhat responsible for this trespass. So I'm calling upon you all to look into this 29-page document and every other situation that you may have heard, and ask yourself honestly, could I have done better in this whole situation? You may not even know who these people are. You may not be in the same town, but put yourself in the shoes of people who are. Because honestly, there might be situations where you could be living in the same town of something that's occurring in the same situation in the same time. In your town, something like this could be happening to some child, and that child has no protection, no sense of respect, no sense of worth, no sense of value. This could be taking place all over, but yet you are still allowing it to happen and transpire the way it is. So as we're moving forward, I'm going to ask you all to continue I'm going to ask you all to continue to pray for these children who've been subjected to this. I'm going to implore you all to stop turning your cheek. And I'm going to ask you all to take part in being more active in your communities to protect our children. This Tuesday, which is Tuesday's date, let me give it to you exactly, if I can get my mouse to work. I have multiple screens, and my screens require me to act a little differently. Okay, 7/18. May 18th is a Tuesday. The Atlantic City School Board will be holding a meeting. I think they'll be discussing this issue because the document identifies the school board in the lawsuit itself. So they're going to have to discuss this. Now, it may not be discussed in public, however, but if you go in public or ask questions, they have to at least identify what the question is. They might not be able to give you the answers they give you, but apply pressure, because there's people on that school board now that may have been aware of some things, but didn't want to stand up when they should have, or try to avoid having to face this because they themselves are ashamed at what the situation is, but not ashamed enough that they had to stand up for protecting the children. We saw one former school board speak up and speak loudly in the process of elections, and they spoke very loudly about what it was without being specific, because we're living in a very litigious atmosphere, and for you might not be aware, you got people who like to throw others in court suing them, thinking that suing is going to shut them up, when in all actuality, we know that the process of suing sometimes is because one predator is aware that the other one can't afford defending themselves. So they get put with their backs against the wall. As they say, do in Rome was what the Romans do. Well, be a Spartan. Let it out now. Talk about it. Let it out every chance you get. Speak in public. Ask the questions, because every person has a right to ask their questions at the Lang City School Board about anything that's happening in the school system, anything that affects you and I. And if it's a lawsuit situation, there's going to be a monetary target to be had, and that monetary target is something that the Atlantic City School, the Atlantic City community has to pay for it. There's a level of immunity that shields the representatives on the board who may have played some sort of part in it, so they don't have to come up their pockets, but the school gets it from the community, and we all need to play a part in that situation. And I say this also for the Atlantic City Council and every other council around the nation. You have a right to speak there about any issue that you find necessary, that you find a great concern in your community and impacts you. Don't think it's too small to say that, okay, you see that the lights are misaligned in your community, it creates dark spots. Speak up. Don't just tell one person and assume that person to carry that message all along, because a lot of times that don't happen. A lot of us as elected officials want to listen to everything that you say, but some of us smile and say everything they possibly can to you just to shut you up, but won't tell you the honest truth that they don't do jack shit. They won't do jack shit. They're just stuck on the agenda for their own good and for their own betterments. I've heard recently some elected officials talk about what's coming next and love to put on the pronouns that I have done this, I have done that, when in essence it was done prior to. All this work that they're trying to get some sort of credit was taking place months, years, decades before they even came into the target zone of an elected position, for them to now take credit. And that seems the same mantra when you talk about people in office. I did this, I did that. Stop patting yourself in the back, because what you're doing now is you deserve to have the same type of target on your back and your chest for everything else that's going wrong. As people are getting shot and crime continues in the community, that's your fault also. You want to take backs, you want to take pats in the back about how things are going lovely, you want to take pictures, and you want to stand up and go on certain media sources and talk about how great things are. Okay, cool, you can do that, but having tunnel vision the way you seem to have, you seem to omit some of the other truths of all the people that are suffering still in the city of Atlantic City. People who have no housing or homeless suffering in the city of Atlantic City. The amount of people who are on drugs and trying to find ways to get off of those drugs here in Atlantic City. The systems, the ecosystems that seem to be eating one after the other, looking for opportunities to eat more from the small pot that we have for the city itself and the residents. You don't talk about that. You sit up there and pat in the back and bend over and whatever, and hold your ankles in any such way when you're supporting the industry that seems to be eating us up. Supporting those who are constantly making money off of our shores so you can look good to them. It doesn't matter how you look to us, because you have to answer to us. But you want praise. You want to look like some sort of rock star. Well, my friend, maybe you are a star, a Death Star. And we just need to throw rocks at you for the bullshit that you helped be a part of. And all of your minions that want to sit up there and carry your flag. And with all those fools out here that are only there to get a job, get that job and go out there and support this person the way they think they should. I tell you what, in one aspect, I give it to you. You got loyal people. But at the same point in time, for y'all that are loyal, what the fuck are y'all loyal to? Because you sure as hell ain't loyal to the city. Sure as hell ain't loyal to the children. You sure as hell ain't not loyal to the development of human life here in 609 and 08401. Seems like the only thing you're about is the development of your own economic standing. As long as you make it, everyone else will just look at you smiling in your pictures. So every time we see these pictures of you smiling, we know the real truth. We know why are you doing it. You can't keep fooling everybody all the time. Because ultimately, The truth is going to come out, and you know who's going to look like the biggest fool? You. And we're sitting back and we're watching, and we're reading, and a lot of us are praying for you because you're human beings. We know that human beings err. We have a tendency of doing so. And then there's this prose that says, he who has the most is required. More, I think that's how it goes. I forget. Well, you've gotten a whole lot, and a whole lot more is required of you, but you're not doing what you need to. So the rent is due. You owe, and you're going to pay. So on another note, sliding off because I didn't want to be totally negative, but we understand gun violence is a true issue. Here in the city of Atlantic City, just the other day, it was a shootout about nearly 5 a.m. in the morning, and it seemed to be really something just came out of the blue. It wasn't like it's an ongoing war, although some reports are suggesting that it is one municipality or one community against another community, and it seems to be members still hunting and shooting out other individuals. But we're glad to say that no one has passed, but some people have suffered. And you know who suffered the most? The innocent people in the communities. And to you, I apologize. I apologize that you have to live in terror. My mother-in-law herself heard gunshots out front of her home, fearful. She's basically ill as it is. She can barely move as it is. So I imagine the terror she felt that morning when she's hearing gunshots outside her door. And we know that guns sometimes shoot, and targets that are had are not necessarily the targets intended, because bullets don't have names on them. So we also know that sometimes bullets go through walls. So the communities are terrorized consistently by these fools, these assholes who just think guns are an option. They don't want to ever put their hands up to fight and square up like we used to in the past. They're not willing to take an ass whipping, but they're willing to take a person's life. They're cowards. They're another reason why I tell all my people, if you can, when you can, buy yourself a gun. Register that gun. And if ever you think or you feel in danger, pull that weapon out and protect yourself. And we'll pray for them after everything is done. So this is not to promote violence. This is more so trying to provide some safety in your mind. Trying to give you some sort of access or feeling that you can protect yourself. My father-in-law, who came on the show before, is an advocate of guns. Him and I used to go, I'm not going to say toe-to-toe, but we had our opinions, adverse opinions about guns and gun violence. I was a lot less adamant or a lot less an advocate of guns in the past because of all the damage that guns have done in the lives of so many people, so many innocent families. And so I wasn't much of an advocate, however he was. He served in the military, like my wife served, and like my uncle, and like my grandfather, and like many family members that I've had served in the military proudly. They've done so honorably, left it, and they came out not necessarily wanting a gun. However, a few of them did. And it's the same concept. They hold a gun because they know there's some people who are willing to try to take their lives to gain whatever they can from you. Some people have no real responsibility in their lives. They feel no ownness to having a soul. So they're willing to take the lives of anyone to get what they want. So putting yourself in the world without protection, to them, it's an impossible thing. So that's why they own guns. So him and I talk more and more, and he tells me how certain guns react and respond this way. And I can understand, I'm more compassionate about listening to what it is that he's saying. I'm still very saddened that this community that I'm living in is subjected to so much gun violence. And the world that we see today sees so much gun violence, and so many families are burying so many loved ones. So many innocent lives are taken because of guns, overzealous people who should never have owned a gun, people who are trained or are licensed to have a gun, who should have been stripped of that opportunity and ability if there was some doctor to look into the malice or potential mental health issues that arise underneath the shell of it all. Maybe we would be more compassionate. Maybe we'd have a better life. Maybe it'd be safer. Maybe our children can play like we always like them to in our communities, on the streets, without having to worry about some drive-by or some fool to think this is the reliving of a drug kingpin movie that they see all the time. My wife and I, we have discussions off and on about how society glorifies drug dealers. Society seems to, especially the African American Latino communities, we glorify drug dealers and champion the drug cartels. We love to feel enamored and making a connection to them because to them it makes you feel like you have some sort of presence, some sort of significance and power. Does it also equate value? I don't think so. And that's one of the illnesses that we have. We need to stop glorifying the drug life, stop glorifying criminal life. It's not to say it's just us, because as we've seen in society today, we've seen tons of movies and ongoing shows about the mob, the Italian La Cosa Nostra, and then the Russian mobs that are coming in, and then the Vietnamese mobs that are coming in, the gangs, the triads in other areas, all other nations that are seen to have some economic hardships and poverty, where people have chosen violence and crime to be a solution out of those things, and they perpetuate and grow and be big, and then they perpetuate that type of violence upon one another here in the state of in the United States. So it's not just our issue, but I can only speak from my point of view, from my eyes. I see my community subjected to the ills of the celebrity that drugs and violence has shown us. It's an illness. It's something that's constantly going to perpetuate negativity in our youth, no matter how much you like to believe it. Some of us have direct links. Me, myself, have family members that have been from a drug kingpin to small as individuals just selling a bag here and there to straight out drug addicts. Don't deny it. It's an unfortunate truth. We've buried quite a few family members from overdoses or getting caught up in gun violence. Buried too many. So I myself feel the same as everyone else has out here. Just about everyone. There's some people who are green, and I'm very jealous that you don't have that worry. But I still do. But again, like I say, for all of those out there who go through that same situation, I know what you're going through. But it's going to take all of us to help correct this. It's going to take all of us to get in the face of those people that we say we love, to get them to stop the bullshit, stop the nonsense, stop the madness. Don't think that drugs is an option. No matter how hard you think there's a better option. Don't give yourself into the mechanisms, the pitfalls to destroy yourself, your community, and your existence. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. The devil is working through our hands and the hands of others, the people that we call our friends, some people that we know are our frenemies, and most importantly, those that we know are our enemies. Don't give in. Don't give them a chance to laugh in your demise. Put the drugs down, put the guns down, pick up a book, pick up some sort of learning source, become better, be bigger, learn something, get something underneath your name other than RIP or the dates that you've lived and died. I want you to celebrate yourselves and lives. I want you to do better for yourself, and I want you to shine. Some of you are straight up cowards, fearful punk asses that you won't allow the greatness inside you to shine. So you'd rather mimic the darkness that you see around you because it's too easy for you. Too often, drug dealers hire a lot faster than businesses in the community or businesses in our municipalities. So we seek that as the only refuge or an excuse as being a refuge. At times we've seen that. So I'm not going to shun the people who've had to make that hard decision and have chosen badly. But I am going to say you have a choice. And I'm also going to say, please choose better. And if you've made that choice, make amends for what you did, choose differently, and then work to be better. There's a chance to do that, to save your life and the lives of others. So as we move forward, I want to continue to celebrate and honor our mothers. Let's stop giving them reasons to be upset. Let's stop giving them reasons to cry. Let's stop burying their babies. Let's honor these beautiful people, these superhumans that has given life, who's have to bear the burden of society on their own while many of us were locked up. While some of us have been buried, our mothers have had to dig holes, ourselves out our holes and themselves out our holes to try to make something out of it. Honor these beautiful individuals. Honor them, not only by words and by gifts, but by through example. You know how you honor your parents? By you excelling, by you being great, by you showing that what you have to offer comes from their hands. So I want to celebrate you. And I also want to celebrate all of the ones that have graduated. I've been saying this with my wife earlier on today. It was really nice to see so many recent graduates of universities all over the nation. I'm seeing their parents celebrate the endeavors and the successes that our children have had. I celebrate them. They're beautiful, man. It's great to see these kids. And knowing some of these kids came from hard at-risk families. Some of you as parents were in and out of jail. We understand that, and I know you want it better for your child and your children. And the fact that they were able to do that says a lot about your endeavors, your passions, your prayers, and their work. So I celebrate you. I celebrate them. Congratulations. May you be blessed and continue to do excellent things. Be awesome. Be what you're intended. All those dreams that your parents had for you, make them come into fruition. Be that awesome individual that you was designed to be. Congratulations for you, and do the best you possibly can on this world. Please make this world better, because we're going to need a whole lot more help in trying to do so. And I implore you also, celebrate these kids out here who've made these small little, I ain't gonna say little, forgive me for the word, these less celebrated accomplishments themselves. If they went into cooking school or culinary arts school and graduated, celebrate them. It's beautiful. It's wonderful to see these chefs, these new upcoming chefs coming out there and lacing the world with delicacies. It's really beautiful to see that. It's an artistry to learn about food and different types of food and make good things. Some people are just good at it, like me, without having to go to school and stuff. But others took the steps to make it more legit, and I celebrate them. In addition to some of the trades, some of our kids have graduated from high school and are certified to be able to do certain things, man. That's a wonderful thing, an achievement. Because I'll tell you what, all reports are suggesting the same thing. There's more jobs available for kids in trades than there are for those who are college graduates. The old American dream to be engineers, teachers, and doctors is not necessarily as easily attainable as someone being an electrician or plumber or someone working with HVAC. So for those individuals who chose the trades, I celebrate you. Let's celebrate them. Let's go out there and get these jobs. Let's make life better. Then there's independent people who've gone through small challenges, ones that are less celebrated. Drug addiction, who've been constantly fighting that monkey off their back, who celebrate a year, a day, 24 hours, a month, whatever. Celebrate them. Those are great achievements. Those are the major achievements that springboard you into larger, greater achievements in life. Those are the ones we need to continue to celebrate also. So let's keep that good energy going. Let's keep it manifesting in our lives. Celebrate everyone. And when you see a sign, clap for them. Say hello. Say congratulations. Kudos. Excelsior. Whatever it is that you want to do is give love to show that. Have that whole, that ahanu, all that love that you have, send it out into the world. I guarantee that vibration that you send into the world is going to help manifest in the lives of people who need it. And for those who have it, it's going to double and triple the energy and send it back out into the world so all of us can benefit from it. So as we continue to celebrate one another and celebrate accomplishments, this one's for you, y'all. It's really good to see y'all. So let me take a sip of water. I've been doing a lot of talking, but in a second, let me put up the link for anybody who's interested in coming on. It is 7:35 p.m. Friday evening. It's the 14th of May. There's a discussion also, really odd. One thing I wanted to bring to the attention. If anyone's paying attention with politics, national politics on the agenda, what I found odd was Liz Cheney, which is the daughter of ex-Vice President Dick Cheney, had a high-standing role in the National Republican Party in politics. When she stood up against the former president, 45, and basically stated that she's going to work to ensure that he never returns to the White House or never gets in a place of power, because of what he's caused in the White House and what he's caused throughout the nation and how he's caused such polarization in our communities, in our nations, and even within the Republican Party. She's vowed to be a large obstacle in his way to try to gain some power. With that said, it seemed like the rest of these fools in the Republican Party just fell behind Trump and says, okay, and knocked her out of position and placed someone else who wants to jump on the Trump party again. So we thought that the president wouldn't have to worry about that concern of Donald Trump. But Donald Trump is like that cancer that you can't reach in the middle of your back. You know it's there, but it's going to keep eating you up until finally it eats you up continuously. That's how Trump seems to be. And all you Trumpsters out there who constantly support, remember, he lost. And also, way society is going on, all the things that you said before are in question now. All the lies that were made are being brought to truth now. You won't necessarily have too much to stand on other than your bitter hatred for the way society is more liberal than it is conservative. And let me say this as a precursor so you'll understand. I'm a liberal at heart, but I'm conservative in my ways of being. I'm no Democrat, no longer a Democrat, although I've been a lifelong Democrat, but I am no Republican either. I don't side with one party or other because I think there's golden elements in each party that brings prosperity to all our tables and all our homes. I think there's good people on all sides of the table, not just the two gangs that we keep identifying with, the Reds and the Republicans and the Blues or the Democrats. I've never been into gang warfare. Thank God I've never been in any gang other than being part of the Democratic Party at one point in time. And I say this because that's what in appearance it seems to be. It's us versus them. That's gang violence. So being I'm not one in the gang violence or in gangs, I'm going to pose this same question. Are these people that are supposed to be your leaders, supposed to be advocates for your well-being, supposed to be your voice, are they there for you or are they for themselves? Keep asking that question and keep posing as much questions as you possibly can to everyone. And as we continue going through this election cycle, don't rely on what you think you know, because more and more we're seeing how people surprise us. And it was once said, people will show you who they are, but it's going to take you to actually accept it and stop lying and make up stories of what you think they are. There's a lot of individuals out here who portray themselves to be all this and having a great image, and in true reality, they're the darkest, most wretched type of human being they possibly can, doing all kinds of illegal and unjust things, being very harmful to the very weak, preying on the meek and the young the way they have been. So whatever we can to make it better, let's do it. Pay attention, keep asking questions. And for those that might be curious, you'll be able to tell in the next week or so how serious I am about moving forward in the elections. Some of you have already asked before, will I be running? And I told you, I will be running. The question was, what will I be running for? Well, I think I've made my decision, and I think moving forward, you'll know that I'm going to give my last chance, my last ditch effort to do the best I can for all those in the community I love, regardless of where you come from, your origin, regardless of how you pray and who do you pray to, regardless of who you love and how you love. If you live in my town, then I'm for you, and I want you to prosper. So I'm going to do what I possibly can to help you prosper. So let me be your advocate. I will be your voice. So as I'm running forward, remember, I got your back. I'm not here for the party. I'm here for the people. And that's going to be my slogan. I'm not here for the party. I'm here for the people. Let's get to work. So as we move forward, thank you for watching so far. It is 20 minutes to 8 p.m. It is Friday night. This is Mo Delgado. This is the New Norm 2.0. It's the internet-based talk show that gives you the opportunity to speak your opinion about things worldwide, nationally here, and then locally. We've had entertained the opportunities having conversations with individuals from as far away as California to mid-Texas. We've had individuals as far away as Bermuda and Trinidad come on the show. We've enjoyed people off of every coast from north to south. Well, there's no north coast. From the south to the Canadian border and from California to Jersey and in the tropics. And every once in a while, we get surprised with how far our reach goes and really confirms that our reach is growing. And the amount of people who are watching the show on a regular basis seems to be consistent and is growing too. And we really appreciate the support we've gotten. The new norm started some 12, about actually a year and 4 weeks. Uh, actually, four? No, almost 18 months ago. This is when we started the show. And it was the time of the pandemic. There was so much uncertainty, a lot of uncertainty going on, information. And as information was going on, people were still asking questions. So I took it upon myself, along with my partner, to start a platform to inform people, to give an opportunity to people to speak about things that are concerning them, to give them opportunity to speak on issues that are impacting themselves and the communities and get some clarity when they can get it. Because it's very and very important for us to be in the know. Because if you're from like where I live at Atlantic City, our news is limited. The access to the amount of news that we get and the clarity of information really depends on the theme of the carrier. You know what I mean? Because you can't expect one group of individuals to give you information on another one without being biased. And in this community, we seem to have a lot of bias about that stuff. So we're limited to what we can get from information for information, and we try to disseminate the information based on need. Um, if you're in South Jersey like I am, you're enjoying pretty nice weather. May has been pretty decent when it comes to the climate wise, and we're starting to see better days and cooler evenings. And just recently, actually the day before yesterday, the Center for Disease Control um, released a statement that is now being supported and touted throughout the nation to suggest that anyone who's been vaccinated can freely walk around without a mask in indoor settings, except for situations where you know it's a high risk. And I would imagine is if you're going into a hospital setting where people are ill and you know they're ill, and there's a potential for something to spread with your presence in there being subjected to it, you don't wear it. I'm really concerned about that myself. How valid it is, we don't know. I think it's more of a testing ground. CDC and everyone else wants to give everyone right before Memorial Day a sense of comfort so they can go out there and enjoy themselves and be free in what they do. Go out there and spend money, travel, go to entertainment venues, go to restaurants and what have you, because our nation is very dependent on tourism and entertainment, and those dollars go a long way. And it's part of the economy itself and the boost that was recently enjoyed by many, many Americans. So it all ties in as we are now in a situation where we're waiting for some certainty when it comes to the vaccines and what have you. More and more people are going to be walking around without masks. I've been telling people myself, I won't be um, free to just walk around without a mask yet. I don't feel comfortable with it. And the situation is, I haven't been fully vaccinated. I don't feel comfortable with the vaccines. I'm not saying to anyone that you shouldn't, because it's ultimately your decision. But I want you to be safe. But I want you to be very informed in what you're doing. But please be safe. I'd like to welcome on the show Aisha Oliver. What's up, Aisha? How are you?
Oh, Mo, thank you. I was just looking to watch. I didn't mean to join the show. I'm great. How is
Um,
everybody?
you wanted to show your beautiful smile, and
I really
congratulations
didn't.
to you for your graduates. Boy, to
Thank
see Trey
you.
looking good up in that cap and gown.
Thank
Congratulations to
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You're one of the
you.
parents I want to talk
Oh,
about. The children.
this
We're
is
honoring the children,
thank
definitely.
you. This is bittersweet. Everything that came with this, we are so proud.
Hmm.
And I oh, I can't say enough. You know, Avery, she comes out next month. You
That's
know,
right.
and we're talking about the top 5% of her class at Atlantic City High School with a 4.2 GPA.
Uh-oh, say that again. What?
Yes,
What?
she has a 4.2. Attending Rowan University, accepted into their biochemistry program. She has a full scholarship
Woo!
in
Awesome.
addition to a partial scholarship through Rowan. So, like, this is big. This is
That's
really, really big. It's
that's
big.
awesome. You know what I'm waiting for, though, right?
What?
I'm waiting to hear someone else getting a scholarship because I know he's able to.
Oh, Mr. Zedekiah, for
Oh, you
sure.
know he can.
For sure.
I'm waiting to celebrate his.
Zeddy is right behind them.
You know it. You know it. If he can be in class next to them, he'll be there. I know that.
Yes,
Like I said,
yes, yes.
it brought a tear to my eye when I saw this the picture
I
of the
listen.
celebration.
I appreciate it, and I was just listening to you. And if I may, if this is
Please,
an open forum,
yes, it always is.
um, I understand your position and how you feel about, like, with COVID and the vaccine and the virus, and now
Right,
with the new CDC recommendations.
right.
Me personally,
Mhm.
I chose to have my family vaccinated, and the reason being is for Zeddy. I do have a son with Down syndrome who had open heart surgery at 8 weeks. So
Mhm.
he definitely is compromised.
Mhm.
And the fact that even in the midst of this pandemic, my son, he worked full time out
Yes,
in the public.
yes, he
Okay.
did. Yes.
So I will say, like you said, it's a choice of your own. I
Hmm.
will give my own experience. My children have allergy induced asthma. Myself, I have allergy induced asthma. You know, so we are initially already immunocompromised.
Hmm.
I will say big shout out to Atlantic Care because they had it all set up, the way that it was organized, and
Okay.
by the grace of God, only by his grace and his mercy, we
Amen.
took a step out on faith, and I chose to have my family vaccinated for Zeddy. And we did not, as you hear the horrific stories, and condolences and our sincerest sympathy goes out to those families who may have
Right.
lost someone who had adverse reaction to
Hmm.
that vaccine.
Hmm.
We did not. And just
That's right.
for me, it is your choice. Yes, true indeed, it is your choice. It
Hmm.
really is. But if you choose not to be vaccinated, please continue to do what you need to do, not only to keep others safe,
Hmm.
but to keep yourself safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely keep yourself safe. I'm not going to judge anyone or criticize anyone if they choose at this point not to be vaccinated.
Right.
But just do your due diligence so that we can go on about as a people, and
Absolutely.
we're all safe. We're all
Absolutely.
safe.
Absolutely. We talk about this on the show all the time because in the beginning, it
Hey,
sounded like
Adrian.
we
What's
were
going on,
all
young lady?
against everything, and we truly weren't. The idea was more so informing people. The more and more we inform people, people make decisions. We had people on the panel who took the vaccine, and for various reasons. And we tell everybody, if you feel good about it, then we support you.
Yes,
If you feel like you're strong about it, whatever the situation is, you weren't like hoodwinked to believe certain things. No, if you were firm about your understanding and you went in, then we support you and we want you to stay healthy. Ultimately, that's all it's all about, to stay alive and stay healthy.
that's
And if the
right.
measures you take in put you there, then you've done it successfully and we celebrate you. And
Exactly.
for Zeddy, trust me, I know. And I would flips whatever it needs to get done to make sure he maintains. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I was on it. I was stalking Atlantic Care's page. I said, listen, I gotta get us vaccinated. And I mean, we did. I will say that my family is fully vaccinated. However, with the new CDC recommendation, I
Yeah.
still recommend, and I tell my children and even myself, when you leave this house, a mask is necessary. I don't care where you're going.
Absolutely.
It's necessary.
Absolutely.
Right. You're right.
And to know that even Dr. Fauci is saying he will still not eat indoors or go to a restaurant, like a movie theater. I'm sorry. Oh,
Mhm.
if that's what he's saying, I'm still gonna wear this mask, whether I do my 2.5
Mhm.
mile walk every day. I got this mask on and I'm on the boardwalk. And when they say good morning, but I'm behind my
They can
mask.
say don't spray
I
it, huh?
I plays no games. I
Absolutely.
plays no games, okay?
And you're
I
I
gambling
tell
with
plays
your
no
life.
games.
It's a
I
life
tell people that.
decision.
Exactly. You have
Yes,
to be accountable of
it
utmost
really
for
it
yourself
really
and
is.
everybody else that you get. But I say this, I will say this. I am known to, if I'm a distant from people and if I'm down breeze, I will make sure my mask is on. But if I'm in a place where the air ain't one, I will let my mask down to
Yes,
breathe some natural air and will go
be,
find places that I can breathe and not
yes,
have to worry
because
about being I will find places.
Exactly.
I don't have to
yes,
be around people all
because
the time. Mhm.
you know,
Yep. Yep. And like in my
you
family,
know.
a lot of immune compromised individuals, and I don't ever want to be the reason why they suffer. So you know what I mean. I'm very
Yes,
conscious of
yes,
that.
sir. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
why
sir.
I've gained the pandemic pounds because I'm not as active as I used to. But it is
Hey,
what
don't
it
worry
is.
about it. Summer's around the corner.
Oh, trust me. You see me rocking the shirts and everything. Got my glasses tinted.
Summer's around the corner, my brother.
Oh, yeah, it's there. Summer's ready. I'm ready. You're gonna see me sweating and active. I'm gonna lose them pandemic pounds and get active, man. I want to see. I tell you that, man. I am so in the mood to feel good about life. You know, I want to feel. I want to feel good because there's been so many things that get thrown our way, and we get distracted, and so many realities in life get reminded how life is kind of messed up, and how human beings always mess it up. But I'm so in the mood to feel good. I'm so in the mood to celebrate others. I want to be happy for everyone. I want happy, enjoying the lives that I love. That's what I really truly want, man. But
Yes,
we get reminded so often how some people are just miserable and some people can't help but live miserably and they seem to perpetuate misery in others, and those are the people that we have to like do something outside of praying for them. we
yes.
got we got to do to stop them from hurting other people and perpetuating that pain on other people, man. Let's pray harder and do better. That's all, I guess.
That's all we have to do. And I always say misery loves company. I say, let that misery train pass me by.
Heck yeah, I'm not getting on that
I don't
train.
Oh,
I don't
well
want to
said.
yeah,
Very
I
well
don't want to
said.
I don't want a ticket on that
Very
misery
well.
train. I really
Mm-mm.
don't.
Nope, I put my thumb down. I'm not catching a ride with that one anymore. Nope, I left it
I
alone.
tell you. Mo, listen, I will tell you that, I live uptown AC. I am usually out maybe 3 to 4 days a week. I
Mhm.
do a 2 to 2.5 mile walk. Sometimes I run. Um, to get the community together. I mean, the Inkwell, the small beach uptown right now is not, there's nobody there in the mornings.
Yeah,
I mean, if we want to get up and out, and I'm not going to say yoga or anything, nothing necessarily, structured, but if people want to get together and meet at the Inkwell, let's just
right.
get together and maybe work out. Let's just
Yeah,
do something and engage and congregate and be a community, you know?
yeah. There used to be yoga. There used to be yoga in the daytime. They used to do that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that potential. Welcome, Dad. Uh-oh. He's
What's up, man? I was having
showing
issues
body
trying to
parts.
figure out how to get on here. I just listened to you talk for the last 30 minutes, and I was kind of going like, where am I at?
If y'all don't know,
So
this
I
is
see you
this is
you
the
posted some
Elder.
old somebody posted something in there, on the site here, and he said go to the duck thing or whatever. So I did that. So now I'm on.
He
Bam. There you
got it.
go.
He's there.
I
Welcome,
got it.
welcome back to the show. We
You're
just
welcome.
we're just expressing our experience and our about the vaccine. Um,
Oh
and
well,
it seems like in this group of people, I'm the only person that have yet to be vaccinated.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
potentially will. I potentially will because I want to make sure that my family and all of us are safe. I'm just
yeah.
apprehensive a little bit more than I should be, I guess. But
Well, I got it, but it's like I'm still gonna do this what I've been doing before I got it, and I didn't. And I've been doing it for about a year, and I didn't get anything. So I'm
That's
kind
it.
of like with you, just because they say you don't need the mask no more, I'm still wearing mine.
That's
You
right.
know, I'm still doing the same thing I've been doing all along.
Absolutely.
So, and plus with the shot, so I'll be on the double safe now.
That's right.
So
That's right. That's right. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's extremely important because nowadays, plus the discussions that we're having, you see how recently the CDC are suggesting, actually the FDA is suggesting that it's okay now for the youth to be vaccinated. They said from seven, I think the age was 7 to 17. Now it's better, it's easier for them. And I kept thinking to myself, at one point in time, we were saying that these kids didn't have to wear a mask. Now they're getting vaccinated. Ooh, okay.
Actually, Mo, it's 12 to 15.
Oh,
Pfizer has they have sought FDA approval for children
Correct.
12 to 15 years of age.
okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
Pfizer's the only one that got FDA approval, right?
Yeah, oh
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
it's
Still
12.
has that.
It's 12 to 15.
Right.
I
Hmm.
thought
Because
they were talking about
initially
even
the Pfizer
even
vaccine was 16 and older.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I thought they were trying to even go lower.
I'm not.
Like
I
trying to
do believe Pfizer and Moderna currently are in trials for children. I want to say 6 months to 11 years of age, and
yeah.
I've been following this only because I have an 11-year-old,
Right.
and they have not approved it as of yet for children in his age category. So right now, Pfizer did get the approval. I don't know if it's emergency use or if they got the overall approval for children ages 12 to 15.
Well, so far, I think everything that's been discussed is they've gotten the final approval, which is odd because all of the other ones still under emergency use. No one has
Well,
a.
they're all under emergency use.
Well,
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the
I'm
reason
gonna
why they're
listen. I'm
going
gonna
with the
tell
FDA.
you. AstraZeneca, Oxford,
AstraZeneca.
which was used globally in other
Hmm.
countries, they did have severe reactions, and they weren't as effective as Pfizer and Moderna.
Hmm.
But then when you came with Moderna's effectiveness too against Pfizer was not as effective against certain variants. And
Right.
then, as you know, Pfizer has been on the market for years with different other kinds of medications. And I'm gonna be honest, that is why I personally opted for Pfizer.
Correct.
Pfizer, they have major
It's more
drugs under
reputable.
their belt. Yes,
More reputable.
Moderna to me sounded like I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna throw some funny in here, but Moderna was like that sounds like a Botox commercial.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I was like
Yeah.
Moderna. I've never heard of them, but when it came to Pfizer Biotech, with their numbers and their effectiveness against the variants, that is what I opted to go with. So just as you know, with me, a citizen, a person, my personal preference with a vaccine or with this vaccine is Pfizer. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will
Hmm.
say, as a mother,
So I
a
did.
parent, as soon as Pfizer gets the approval or they complete the trials for children younger than 12 years of age, my son, who is 11, he
Hmm.
will be vaccinated.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
remember, Pfizer was the first one that actually came on the market, and everyone else followed rushing out to the market after Pfizer first came out.
Right.
So first it was Pfizer, then before you know it, not shortly thereafter, you had Moderna. And then after Moderna, then come running down the pike, it was Johnson and Johnson.
Yes,
And then after that was the AstraZeneca. The AstraZeneca one will actually be used overseas, not in this country, according to Joe Biden. So that's what's going
yes,
on there. Like some of the people in Mexico and some of the other poor countries, they're going to end up with the AstraZeneca one and possibly also the Johnson and Johnson.
yes.
Did y'all notice that there's no information being had or given about the national company supported by Russia? They had a national agency with the vaccine that but you had nothing, no reports, no success, no recidivism, no effectiveness. Nothing is getting reported, oddly enough. And you know
Wow.
that was it? Norway was the first country they said had zero amounts of cases of COVID-19. Then all of a sudden, in this cycle, they had a crisis situation for so many people that they didn't have enough vaccines. Then, my understanding is that Russia had a partnership with them to get some vaccines Now you don't hear too much about Norway. So I'm wondering what that is. What's that about? Have they found the solution? Have they found a cure or to eradicate it, or they just basically found the Pfizer and Moderna's version and they duplicated it, or they worked to deal with
Um,
Pfizer and Moderna? I don't know.
some of these countries,
That's interesting.
make their own. Some of these countries make their own vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
China
Yeah.
does, you know that,
Yes.
and Russia also
And it
does also. And
yes, and if you know
Russian
that
one is
China's
Sputnik.
vaccine is in India, and look at where India is right now.
Oh man,
Not to
Correct.
cut you short, Adrian, but India, they were using China's vaccine, and unfortunately, look at these cases, 400,000 cases per
Do you know
day
what
in
happened?
India.
Do you know what happened in India? They were all celebrating in the Ganges River, because there was a national celebration, and
yeah,
everybody was in that river like crazy. They let their guards down. That's the same thing that happened in the United States, back in the day. Because right after World War II, after the pandemic hit, everyone thought we were totally out of it. So they went out into the streets and they were
right.
partying and the whole 9 yards. The war is over,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when the second wave hit them. The same thing happened in India. India had everything under control for a while until what happened? They went celebrating, the holiday, the whole 9 yards, in the Ganges River, and everything just went to hell.
Yeah.
And that's where they are right now.
Trying to remember the
You know,
holiday. What is the
when you have
holiday
the
colors?
president of the United States actually saying to everyone, hey, you don't have to bother about wearing your mask. Remember, folks, there's still variants out here. According to what I've heard, there's 6 variants still out here. You still have the Brazilian variant. You still have, the Indian variant now, which I know that was coming down the pike. And
Yes,
there's
the
few others
African
out there,
variant.
the
Yes,
African variant, the European. These things, like I says, they still gonna get you one way or another if you don't, mask up and be careful. That's just the bottom line. I've heard
that's
Dr.
right.
Sanjay Gupta last night along with another doctor, and it says, hey, we're still gonna wear those masks. Either way you look at it, even though the CDC, is saying, hey, you could go back out and you could do all of these things. I don't trust it. I don't
That's
trust it
right.
because like I tell a lot
That's
of people
right.
today, it's going to be your ass on that gurney, actually pushing in yourself. They'll be pushing you to the morgue.
Yep.
So
I'm
That's
it's a
right.
life and death decision. Don't play with life and death. Don't gamble with the
No,
devil.
not at all.
I listen. I just ordered two more boxes of masks today. I'm not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know what? It's part of a normal life now because we've done it so long. So we've adapted. It's just people, they're just so aggressively wanting to go back to where it once was just to be reckless. I mean, it
Yes,
doesn't take that
we
much
yes,
don't.
effort
yes.
to do the
We did
smallest thing
not.
to put the mask on.
No, we did not get here overnight. All of this did not happen overnight. It was a gradual
No,
progression. That's how we
it
got here.
didn't.
So for
It
us to get
didn't.
a part of this, it's going to have to be a gradual, progression once again. It
Yep.
did not
Yes.
happen overnight. If someone didn't flick a switch and say shut the whole damn country down and everybody stay home, it just did not
Oh,
work that way.
so that's right. So true. Because I will say we shut down, and I remember this day like it was yesterday. It was March 17th of
Yeah,
2020 officially. And
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I will say March 12th, okay, for my daughter's 17th birthday, we were sitting at Sakura at the hibachi to celebrate her birthday.
cool.
And while sitting there, okay, by the time we had dinner to the time we got home, I got the call from Atlantic City Public Schools that school was going to be closed that Friday the 13th and that Monday the 16th. And
Yeah,
then over the weekend, I got a call that everyone was to report to school on Monday the 16th to retrieve their things and obtain their laptops. So
That's
as
crazy.
of Tuesday, March
mhm,
17th, I woke up to the Today Show, and we're talking COVID numbers in excess of 4,000. Okay. As the days went on, 5,000. The
correct.
deaths are exceeding 250,000. The bodies being stacked up in refrigerated trucks in New York.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
absolutely depressing. I personally started wearing a mask before it was mandated, and I will never forget going to the grocery store with a mask on. And at the time, it was still cold, but I had a scarf around because in a sense, I felt embarrassed. I said, I really have a mask on going into the store. But in my mind, I knew
You had
I
to.
needed to keep myself safe because not everybody is listening and watching to this news about this virus.
Correct.
Very much so.
And going to work on a hybrid schedule, sitting in an office with a mask on, and people coming to your door and you telling them, I need you to stay right there. Or for me, going in through the back way so that I didn't come in contact with anybody. It was
Yeah.
a time that was unheard of. Unheard of.
Yeah.
Or being the sole one to do the shopping and everything for your household because everybody in your household is immunocompromised. And when you go to grab that doorknob and your hand starts shaking because you have anxiety, you are
Mm-hmm.
now panicked.
Mm-hmm.
I went through all of that, whether you want to call it PTSD or whatever, but I will never forget those times having, as I always said, my moves are calculated. I would always need to be up at a certain time, make sure I get to the store at a certain time. But when you go to grab that doorknob to leave your home and your hand starts trembling because you're leaving your home and you don't know what you're going out here to,
Mhm.
that is what I
Simple.
remember 15 months ago.
There's so many cycles of terror that I think all of us will never forget. Actually going into a store and seeing empty shelves,
No, yeah.
you know, that was
Yes,
scary
yes,
because we're a land of abundance. You know, we're blessed. We're a land of abundance. So
yes.
going to a store when you see empty shelves, you start thinking, oh shit, all the stuff we've
Like
seen on
what is,
TV,
yes, what is going on?
right? Is
But
this
it was,
really truly what we fear?
yeah. The thing about it too, Mo, because it's traumatizing to so many people on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Because just like it says, a lot of domestic abuse went up, a lot of cases, violence,
Yeah.
the whole nine yards. I mean, it was last year was a crazy freaking year because then you also had a
Yes,
lot of the protests left and right. It was
Yeah.
nuts. It was last year, 2020 was like the movie 2020. It was
yes,
like craziness,
Yeah.
like totally craziness.
It's so sad because, like I said, you hit it right on the nose. There was so much pushing on us. It was testing our mental wellness. It was testing our unity in our families, in ourselves, our ability to cope. It was testing us all the way around. You hit it on those. Black Lives Matter became extra loud.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? It became forefront. It became an item of vitriol amongst people with racist issues. And then racism became so rampant,
Yeah,
and
very much.
hatred seemed to be a regular thing. So if you
Yeah,
had that, tap that on with the pandemic, man, everyone was nervous, man. No matter where you
yes.
go,
yeah,
stress.
totally.
We
Everybody
all
was doing
deserve
skit.
a vacation. We
And
all
Mo,
deserve.
Yeah, everybody was
you know that when my son would leave here every day during
Mm.
that time,
Oh Lord,
it was
yes,
like taking a deep breath, but holding my breath
I can imagine.
almost.
I can imagine. Because having that regular life is something that's important for his development, man. And I know that was difficult, man. But I'm
When Trey
so
would leave
so
this
thankful.
house every day, it was like, Lord, just bring him home.
Yep,
Just bring him
yep,
home.
yep. I'm so
then you're
thankful
looking at
that,
the schooling.
yeah. You know
The
what? I'm
schooling
so
was crazy. A
thankful
lot
that
of
so
people never
many
had
of
their
us.
graduation. Sorry, Mo, go ahead.
Say that. Yeah, say
No,
that
go
again.
ahead. Go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, so you're looking also at the schoolings where a lot of kids weren't even able to actually graduate.
Oh
Everybody,
man.
Yes,
the 2020 graduation just wasn't there. So you have a
and I'm
lot of
gonna
kids
be,
also traumatized because we've never been through this in our lives before.
and
Going
not
through all
only
of the
that,
number of
like,
years, everybody's attended graduations and birthday parties and the whole nine yards.
yes,
Last
yes.
year just wasn't it. It
And I'm
took
Yeah.
that
gonna
off the
tell you,
table.
Adrian, my daughter turned 18 this year. So you can imagine, like, that's not an 18-year-old celebration. She's a
Yeah.
senior in high school this year. So
There's so much involved.
everything that she was looking forward to do, she hasn't been able, to do it. Although I gave her the option,
Yeah.
you can go back to school hybrid or anything like that. And she just got to the point. She said, Mom, I got accepted into college. I'm going to school for free. I'm just gonna finish out this school year. Like it's a done deal. I'm done.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
I'm grateful that her junior year, though, she ran for homecoming princess and won. So she has that, she has something under her belt, that one thing, that she can take with her. But at the same time, I will say our children, and as people of color, and I wish that our people would really hold on to this. Our children are more resilient than we think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
They really
You're absolutely
are.
right. You do a
They
lot.
really
You do
are.
a lot.
Yeah. I'm
And
pretty
I'm
certain
not
our,
just speaking
our
from
elder in the family right
experience
here
with
can speak
my
on that.
children. Yes, but our children are more resilient than we know.
Absolutely. But we're doing the same thing our parents did with us.
That's right.
We're fearful that we're not able to provide for our children. Our parents did the same thing, had to go through some hardship, probably 100 times worse than we do. But as proven, kids are resilient.
They
Our
are.
kids grow
They
and they
are.
adapt. What they've never had, they're not going to miss. And what they're only going by what we told them. We talk about our prom date, and so they hear about prom, but they can have a prom at any time. It doesn't have to be the prom per se. So it really takes it takes the person and the ability to be creative to fill in those gaps, those voids. So that's why I said I'm really thankful for individuals who try to bring some sort of normalcy in the lives of their families and in their elders and others, because they're the glue that's keeping it together, man. They're truly the glue that's keeping it together. So when you're able to find options for your kids to be able to do something to fill in between, it's really essential. And one day your children will look back and says, well, during that time, this is what my parents did, and this, it was such a great thing, and they can have a teaching moment for their children moving forward. I see Aisha's going through some technical issues, so hopefully she'll come in a second.
Yeah, I got another little box on the side of my screen, and last time I clicked on it and it turned everything off, so I had to go back on again. But anyway, that's why I disappeared for a minute.
It's all right.
No, but I just want to say that, if you think about it, I mean, every generation has something new to go through.
Correct.
Correct. And it's all about adaptation, and you have to, it's not a thing where it can be taught, but you have to kind of like be able to think outside the box, and do things differently. And everything is not the same old, and I try to preach that to my little youngins here. They're going through things and they're kind of like, well, Dad, they get kind of upset with me because they always figure like, well, every time I come to you with a problem, you trying to fix it. Well, I'm not trying to fix it. The only person that can fix it is you. I'm just trying to give you some suggestions. You can take that and run with it, or do whatever you want with it, or just ignore it. But I think that's one thing I've learned is that, every day, you got something you never dealt with before, so you have to figure out how to work it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Like
every day is the new norm.
Life is not full of problems, man. Life is full of solutions. It's just that we
Yeah.
have to learn how to find the solution to the problem. That's the
Right.
that's the situation that's going on. But also solving that problem you need to apply common sense to many situations out here. And that's what's happening. Just like what we were just talking about a little while ago with the CDC. When Trump was in office, nobody was freaking listening to a damn CDC because they were like on the Trump train also. So now all of a sudden they flipped the script and they came back and they're like, hey, look, everybody can go partying out here. They're giving the people the wrong impression that you could just get back to normal. Because this weekend and Memorial Day weekend is going to be off the chart. A lot of people are going to go out there saying, hey, I'm vaccinated, knowing damn well that they're not. So a lot of people are going to be lying. There's this one restaurant owner that was actually making fraudulent copies of the vaccine,
the card.
Yeah, the card. Yeah,
That was here in Sacramento.
Yeah, so he was actually signing it, and the FBI had to move in on this guy. and
Yeah.
arrest them.
Well,
A lot of these guys were actually saying, "I'm vaccinated, so I don't have to wear a mask." You know damn well that you haven't been vaccinated because you're
well,
scared of needles. You know
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
throw
saying?
I'm gonna throw something in there. See, all this is happening so fast. It's not because the folks care about us. They just want to make some money.
It's
They
politics.
want everybody. They want everybody to go back to work. They already said. I saw something on the news the other day where they were saying, well, if you know, if there's jobs out there and you don't take it, we cutting off your little assistance and
South
unemployment.
Carolina, yeah, South
Yeah,
Carolina,
yeah. So so
Illinois.
that's all about. They want folks to go back to work because
Yeah,
they losing money, and then so and not only go back to work, but we ain't paying you no money. You ain't gonna get
exactly.
no.
So don't get
get,
yourself sick. It's up to
you know,
you. Because when that medical
yeah,
bill comes in, it's going to be on your head. Your
yeah,
minimum wage ain't going to pay for that medical bill because you're going to have to write that off or file for bankruptcy one way or another, passing that on to society. That's what's
yeah,
going to really happen.
yeah.
So once again,
That's
common
it.
sense will have to apply.
They ain't
What
doing
happened is
nothing for you.
South
Or
Carolina,
for us.
Montana, and a few
Everything
other
is for
states.
them. Trust me.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a few other states are actually saying we're giving all of these people 30 days to find. How are you going to give all of these people 30 days to find a freaking job? How are you going to do that? 30 days?
That's
You tell
crazy.
you have 30 days to find a job, or they cut
Well,
off.
you can go get a job at McDonald's. You can go get Burger King is
You
hiring.
don't
You
have to
can't
take
find something with a
a
living
McDonald's
wage.
job.
It's hard.
Huh?
It's hard to find things with the living wage, but you can find a job.
Living wage is
Yeah.
The living
correct.
wage
The
is hard to
difference
find.
between living
And
wage.
that's what I'm saying. They want you to go fill them spaces back in, go be a waiter, go be a gas station attendant or whatever, workers 7-Eleven or something. I don't know.
They want to tell you to
But
supersize them fries. Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's a difference
yeah.
between minimum, a living wage and minimum wage because even some of these companies want to go back to like 7.25 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But here goes
Yeah, oh,
gas.
yeah.
$3,
That
$3
ain't changed.
a gallon is for gas. $3.09 a gallon for gas. But you're gonna be working for $7.25. How are you gonna feed your family that way? I don't
Okay,
know.
that's not a living wage. That's not realistic. You know something?
But you know something also more because many years ago the unions used to actually pay people decent wages because they have built America.
Right.
Remember, a lot of things, the cars, the auto workers unions, a lot of these unions, but they destroyed a lot of the unions. The unions, and a lot of them are no longer around because they did a lot
Union
of
busting. Exactly. The process of union
So
busting.
now they actually want people to work for less than minimum wage, but if but then they still don't want you to have the unions out there either.
That's a shame.
So you're caught between a rock and a hard place because General Motors and a lot of those guys and Ford pay the employees very well.
Yeah.
When you're working in Michigan,
That's why they moved in all the factories to Mexico.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
They did a lot of union busting.
you also had big tobacco. Like my family outside of Petersburg, Virginia, worked with Williams. Was it Williams and Williams? And then the Reynolds Wrap Company. It's not too far away. These are big corporations that work on, and they provide such a big, vital part to the economy. When the economy shifts, or these sly corporate companies find avenues to take it out of America so they can save $1, they will. Man, that's a shame.
It
You know,
is. It is a shame. They're gonna just have people on poverty wages. That's what it really boils down to. America is gonna be a poverty pot. That's what is gonna happen.
Well, that's the thing is, like, they gave all these big corporations, these rich folks, all these this big tax break, and these guys they want to keep it, man, and that's the whole thing. So as soon as they start talking about, oh, we're going to start taxing the rich folks, oh, they ain't having that. Come on.
Nah,
Nope.
nah.
And this is, you know what I stumbled onto in just talking about all this stuff? Did you know that Walmart is the #1 employer in the United States?
I thought it was Amazon.
No, Walmart. Walmart is the biggest employer, and it is the #1 employer in 46 states.
Yeah,
Number one
yeah.
in 46
Walmart is big,
Yeah, it is.
but they ain't paying no money either.
They're not. But you know what? However, they're starting to shift because I've heard of Walmart now. Certain shifts pay $17 an hour, and then there's a bonus for getting the vaccine. It's still one of those type of things. These corporations that make a killing pay penance, like Amazon.
Yeah.
major corporation, and they pay
Massive.
penance,
Massive.
small, and it's the same thing. It's the concept of American business based on capitalism, and capitalism needs to have poverty. That's how it functions off of poverty. It gives penance wages to people to work and supply the goods and services for the wealthy. And that's what capitalism is, and that's a damn shame. We are the best example of the darkest parts of capitalism. It's not working to benefit the middle class. It's benefiting the wealthy. It's helping us maintain. That's like sure
that's
all
why
of us are addicted to heroin and giving a small little shoot so we can continue moving on. And then when the time comes, just giving us the last shot to bury us. You all right there?
It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
my little stand is slipping.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally pathetic, Mo, because right now, as far as the vaccine is concerned, Ohio, the governor of Ohio said that he's putting together a lottery. So if you get the vaccine,
$1 million.
you'll be able to enter into a lottery that you could actually win yourself $1 million. So he wants everybody to get vaccinated. So he's going to use the money from the the COVID relief to actually use that money to actually help people get vaccinated in this lottery for $1 million. And it says every week for 5 weeks, which will be $5 million, an individual could actually win $1 million if you get vaccinated. You see, so it became politics. That's what it really boils down to right now.
It is. Anytime, and you see in this kind of incentive all over the place. More and more companies are paying people extra dollars so they can get vaccinated or be fully vaccinated and then get reimbursed double and triple from the federal government to help the incentive to get them going. It's the same funnel of shit. And this is the thing that we talk about with corporate America. They always find tax loopholes to be able to function. And they always present it like to the general public like this is the wonderful gift that we're giving to you. Nah, you're giving them small little crumbs when you're actually eating a hell of a big ass buffet in the background off the backs of Americans. And that's a damn shame.
Well, my only thing is they act like like it's their money. It's our money. they give it away. It ain't their money.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Whoopi Goldberg said the same thing. She says the money that these people are actually saying that they're giving is what you've been working for all your freaking life. You've been paying taxes for all of these years. Just go back from the very first time you started working, paying taxes until current.
It's more our money than it is their money because they don't pay taxes anymore.
There you go.
They're distorted of our money and stuff, but they actually, like right now, the Republicans, with this infrastructure bill, these guys cannot determine what infrastructure really is. Are you for real? And then not only that, they want to actually have the public, the general public, not the big companies, the general public feel for this infrastructure. Is another tax the big companies once again.
And infrastructure was a discussion that we started having under Barack Obama. The infrastructure problems. The roads, the trains,
bridges cracking,
bridges falling over.
50 years old. They're older than I am.
Yeah. Well, I think what's his name, Bernie Sanders. He kind of cleaned. They were talking. Well, there's some of that relief stuff is in there. Is money for the people and all this kind of stuff, and Social Security and all this stuff. And they were going like, well, taking care of the people, that is an infrastructure. You know what I mean? It's not just bridges and roads and stuff, but it's the people, So I think he had a good point there, and it's like because well, I'm gonna put it this way. I know Mo had made a statement earlier before everybody came on, and he was talking about not necessarily belonging to a political gang, and I want to say that just for voting purposes, because you have to register as something, to be able to even to vote. But I vote for folks that, to me, that's got something for the people, And they say, I'm not for a party. I'm for the people. You don't have that mindset on a lot of these these different political parties. And all I got to say is that from my perspective, the Republican parties is doo-doo. You know.
They're done. They stick a fork in them because Trump hijacked the whole party. And as a matter of fact, as of today, Trump said he's going on a campaign starting next month. So he's going to be on the road campaigning, for some of these guys starting next month. He hijacked their whole entire Republican Party, and that's what he's held them hostage.
I was seeing something about how there is something like 100 and some different senators or something like that. They're trying to start their own party, another party. Yeah. And so so you're gonna have the Republican Party, and then you're gonna have the Trump Party. But the thing is, Trump, the way he is, anybody that ain't for him, he sabotages them. That's just his MO. But the thing is, I think these Republicans that are just blatantly just supporting Trump and they just knocking everything down, doing all this different stuff, they gone, man. They history. But I think even the diehard Republicans, man, are probably going like, man, these people are crazy.
They're crazy.
We got to get rid of them. And then you got the little talking heads, man. They get on there, don't even make sense. They get shot, right out of the water, man. Every time they come on TV, try to, present some of these weird ideas and stuff. It's just stupid, man. But, then you got a lot of stupid people, I was going to ask you guys about how the gas situation is back there. The gasoline, did it bother y'all?
No. It's not that bad. It's more down south than it is up north here.
Okay, down south.
What's happening? Yes, more down south.
We've got refineries in North Jersey, so we're not going to have the dilemmas that most people. We've seen some increase because we went up. I think gasoline might be at 305, 306 right now.
It went up here too. So and we ain't nowhere near that, but they got all kind of excuses. Well, we can't get truck drivers. Oh well, but the gas here every summer, for some reason it goes up.
But we know why. For tourism, they're trying to get
because more people are driving. That's the other things that more people are driving now. So if more people are driving, you selling more gas. Why is the price going up? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Seemed like it would kind of mellow out because you making more sales. Now when you wasn't making sales, I can see going up. But it's kind of like the here they say like, okay, in the wintertime they put some kind of additives or something in the gas, right?
Yeah.
But in the summertime they take it out. So that's why the prices go up because they're taking the additives out. I don't get that part either, but they just come up with some stuff that's like
they basically look at a summer blend and a winter blend is what they're actually trying to say by putting some.
So what I'm saying, but if you're gonna take the stuff out, the additives out, why are the prices going up? Seems like they would go up when they put the additives in.
When the prices actually went up because there's a pipeline that was just hit by
the hackers.
So that's what's happening. The one that runs from New Jersey to Texas. So they were actually paid the $5 million to it was a ransomware is what they actually call it.
Right.
And they paid these guys $5 million. So now there's another company that just got hit. Because they're like, hey, these hackers are figuring out exactly, which company has the insurance that when they get them, they will actually be able to pay the insurance to these hackers.
Yeah, that's why Biden was telling them not to pay it because they said,
I
know they did. They said they didn't, but they did, and they just setting the precedent. So now they're gonna be hacking everything and everybody.
It's open season. It's open season.
Yeah. Here's the crazy
let's hack Bank of America and get 50 million. Let's hack Citicorp. Let's hack everybody.
They open up Pandora's box. So
we knew about this. We knew about this. We knew this about 3 years out. Cybersecurity was getting pushed crazily all over the place about cybersecurity and hackers. So we knew the potential. The thing is, everybody kept saying, the pandemic this way, pandemic that way. Perfect timing. You have a distraction. And the crazy thing about it is the people who actually executed this heist took in that money and wanted to donate it to nonprofit organizations. They're like, nah, I'm not taking this blood money. I was like, y'all need to take it because their industry is basically robbing people.
It's like a Robin Hood situation. You take from the rich to give to the poor is what they're actually saying. And,
Yeah,
and the hackers are like, we're not associated with any form of government. We're doing
right.
this on our own.
Yeah, and I'm with that eat the rich time, concept from Reddit. I'm with the concept because ultimately we have to level the playing field so everybody can at least survive. But in this situation right there, I'm waiting because, like you said before, they're going to be coming at Bank of America and other things like this for the
Yeah,
avenue. I can see them shutting down the credit bureaus, which makes
they're going to be
all the
hitting
sense
them.
in the world. But the next thing is they're going to constantly protect the Bitcoin and then the blockchain network and all that stuff. They're going to protect that because that's where most of it's going to gravitate to.
Well, they're going to be crashing. They're going to be hitting the system very hard from this point forward to get a
Mhm.
lot of that insurance money. It's like holding the companies hostage. Is what they're doing, holding these big companies hostage.
Well,
Imagine holding Amazon or one of these guys hostage. They're not able to do anything. They got a hold of, a lot of people on credit cards. That we've seen a lot of breaches when it comes to credit cards, like crazy.
yeah, can you imagine if somebody hacks Jeff Bezos, and takes his money under ransom? You imagine the impact it would have? Because Bezos is so big.
He'll go skizzy.
The Amazon is so big outside of the produce and the products that they present. They're so big because they also supplement all these different services, and that's the crazy part. The services that they provide you are the undercurrent of most of the internet shows. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Amazon services is probably part of the reason why we're able to function on the show. So
But think about it, Mo. When this pandemic hit, when everyone had to end up, staying, have the indoors, the whole 9 yards.
uh-huh.
Imagine some of these companies that actually blew up: Facebook, Zoom, Amazon, Walmart was an essential, whereas all of the other places has to close down. Walmart was still open, so
Okay.
all of these companies just blew up mega, big
Right.
time.
Right. Well, let's welcome to the show our brother Ron Spence coming out of VA. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing good. How y'all?
Good
Oh
to see you,
yeah.
brother. How you feeling? We're all right. We're maintaining this side. How is Virginia right now? What's with the gas prices out in VA? They going crazy? What?
I'm doing good.
Good. What about the gas prices, Ron? Are they looking
Two
crazy?
295.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, nah, little
Not
three.
shoot.
No, they doing good.
We might be
Yeah.
down there again soon. We might come down. So as we moving on, we know the impacts of this hack is gonna move forward because you see this society today is always trend. Whatever trend is hot, you'll find somebody else follow a trend, and because this is generally the same concept, Dogecoin, K&B toys, all that stuff was back to back, trend for trend. I'm waiting if this is going to be a trend too, like the hacker's going to get something else. I'm waiting for this to come about. I'm waiting to see what else is next. Transportation Authority, could they shut down the National Transit Authority? That'd be something.
Well, like I said, they're working on this infrastructure bill, so it's we have to pay close attention to what's happening here because they're going to be pouring a lot of money into working on the bridges, the railroads, the whole 9 yards. I think one of them is called a bullet train. I think they're still trying to get that put into play here. The bullet train. That's what
Right.
they have like in China that could actually move over 250 miles an hour, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Well, I think what they need to work on is that our power grid system, because that thing is antiquated everywhere, and then they can shut that down easy, and then we all will be in the world of hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Speaking about your point, Adrian, there's the discussion is going on about the tunnel system. Like I know Elon Musk with his supersonic train system. They said they've already developed 80% of the pathways to go to and from one side of the nation to the other on a bullet train. And all I kept thinking was, I remember
They already got that.
I hate because remember we saw King Kong versus Godzilla, that underground network.
They already got that.
About it. Yep.
The government's got that already.
We know it.
Yeah.
We know it. If you ain't noticed, Nikki's on there. She's saying greetings to both of y'all. You and Ron. Ron just jumped off, but
Oh, hello, Nikki. I didn't see that.
Yeah, she's on the side. Let me put on the greetings. She's telling you that you know Ron from Lang City. Ron is off right now.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He didn't recognize me, and I didn't recognize him.
it happens. It happens. Ron's usually real cool. He sits in the back and just lets the conversation goes on, like Adrian does sometimes.
And sometimes you have to pay attention. You know, that's what it really boils down to.
Yep. But talking about the national train, that's the one thing that would bring us together into modern day, because that's the one asset that a lot of the nations abroad, like in Japan, is that train. Asia, the bullet trains that are able to do so. Europe, the bullet train to go back and forth from one country to the other down to Africa. It really joins in and makes things a lot easier. You imagine if we can have that bullet train system, how many corporations would spend less money on drivers using trucks than they would going in another way. So it would actually bring us to common days, man.
You know, like you know, that bullet train is a big thing, and I like to see it, you know, in play, because these old trains are still running the tracks around. You see running from the Atlantic City to North Jersey or to Philly or whatever the case may be, and it shakes around. The bullet train has a very smooth ride to it because it's on magnetic levitation. Maglev. Exactly.
Yeah, I saw Ron just posted something to me, and yes, I do remember you, Ron. You know, and every time I touch something, I shut myself off, so I'm not going to touch anything. But I just wanted to say, hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah. But Adrian, on your point, we were talking about maglevs, man. There's maglevs all over Florida. There's maglevs in California. There's maglevs. If I'm not mistaken, there's maglevs in Boston. You know, the elevated cars and stuff that they use. They're all over the place.
Oh, the L train. Yeah, okay. I was trying to figure what was you talking about?
Magnetic elevated.
Magnetic levitation. That's what it is. It's two magnets pushing against each other when the electricity comes in between.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's called magnetic
levitation. Like the ones they have in Philly, they're all run by electricity.
Yeah,
in New York. Yeah.
That was invented in America. Check that out, Mo. That was invented in America here. But what happened, the guy couldn't get a patent here, so he took it overseas. And they adapted it first. And that's how it became big. He went to Germany, and he actually, got everything approved over there. Yeah.
I saw a story on that.
Take them on.
You see how successful they become. Maglev is something that's new age technology. They even try to integrate it into the military, using a maglev system to have that, I think it's called the ratchet gun. It's the same kind of technology, causing pressure at magnet. It magnetizes metal to able to shoot at longer distances, farther distances with trajectory.
They got those.
Yep.
I seen them. On something they were talking about on TV or some documentary or something. But yeah, they got, man. I tell you, man, I wouldn't put it past the government, man. That they got a whole bunch of stuff. I think even some of these UFOs they've been seeing, man, is probably the government.
Here goes a perfect example for you. What's going on in Israel right now? They shot off about 2,000 rockets. From the Palestinians shot 2,000 rockets straight into Israel. 2,000. Now, Israel has this device. This thing is called the Iron Dome. And the Iron Dome is actually, another missile that actually, it's a heat-seeking missile that actually take out another missile in midair.
Right.
So what happened, a few of them got through, but all in all, the Palestinians, Hamas is shooting off these 2,000 rockets.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, where were they keeping all this stuff?
Well,
that's American technology, it's somebody's bunker somewhere, because the fact of the matter is, Israel has the fighter jets. So when they see some of these rockets come from a certain area, they will send the fighter jets to take those rockets out, even though if they're happening in buildings and alleyways and they're shooting it up. Israel is very aggressive when it comes down to taking it out.
Yeah, they have the most fearsome air force in the world. Yeah. They teach everyone in their tactics. But the Iron Dome, you're talking about the Iron Dome. That's American technology. That's the Patriot missile.
Oh, yeah.
Patriot missile. And now they're using laser technology. It's the same technology that we have. We call it differently, But we have
We saw the
we have a
trend.
protection system using lasers that are centered on the bases. There's some in Hawaii. You can see it online all the time when they test it. And they test it more frequently. You can see it in Hawaii. They're off of boats when they're using it on the ships and the tankers and so on and so forth. We have that technology. It's all
Yeah.
available. It's just
Yeah.
ain't nobody gonna be stupid enough to try to throw in these little micro bullets and shit and missiles at the United States. Not when we got ICBMs located up the street from them.
Not only that, we also have the drones. Remember, America still have those drones. That drone program is right in Vegas,
And that's
in the
the
desert.
scary.
And
I
then
would
they
say
got those it's been a thing. They got those lasers now, man. You know, they were saying a lot of the fires that was started here in California was actually started by these lasers.
see.
Yeah, you know. So I don't know. You know, I think the whole thing is, man, is what I'm seeing. At least maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, I am. You know, because I check out
Sure
everything.
am.
I don't dismiss nothing, man. But you know, it's like
Not a
it's almost like, you know, I mean, they got that harp system where they can control the weather. They can control
HAARP.
earthquakes.
Yep.
Yeah, they can control earthquakes or create earthquakes and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, you know, all of a sudden we having all these catastrophes, floods and stuff that we never had before, earthquakes, thunderstorms, lightning strikes. I mean, you know, all this stuff is going on. It's almost like they're trying to wipe us out, man. You know, that's what I'm kind of thinking. You know, they just throwing stuff at you. You know, and
It's the
hopefully
most
we
egotistical game.
sleeping,
It's
huh?
the most egotistical game played by people who never seen one bit of fighting themselves. They're people that
Mm-hmm.
sit up there behind buttons and pads,
Mhm.
determining who can die and who's not. You talked about the HARP system. You know, when they were first developing the HARP system, they noticed a trend of earthquakes that demolished Haiti. They were trying to figure out the
Yeah,
anomaly of how all of a sudden Haiti had gone through the same suffering. You notice Puerto Rico last year going through some of the similar situation,
yeah,
but
yeah.
tectonic plate would have put an offset of Miami and Cuba and the rest of them. So there's always someone to think that they're a bigger bully and bigger evil entity. I'm waiting to see the tungsten, these big giant, and we see this. All of us conspiracy theorists always say, if it's been in the movies, that means it's already been reality for a long
Oh
period of time.
yeah.
The tungsten weapons, where they send them from space down here, because they exact more energy and more power, more destructive, with a more condensed outcome instead of it like having the mushroom clouds affect people on a grander scale. The tungsten bullets that are coming down, that's something to worry about. That's death coming from the sky, and that's coming next. Watch.
Well, we're living in the future. You have to remember that, Mo. We're living in the future. And everything from this point forward is going to be space, you know, and air, land, and sea, and more space is what
I'm
you
waiting.
Well, then you're trying to. I mean, you know, and then like you talk, Mo was talking about how you know you got these guys sit behind the these little desks and computers and punching these buttons. You know, like I don't know if you saw guys, so they got the robot dogs and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the
You
one in
know,
the
and then yeah, and they had like robots
hmm
dancing to some,
Yeah,
to
I
something
remember
I
when I
saw
was
on the
in Vegas
internet.
when it first came out.
You
I
know,
remember when
they
it first
jumping
came out.
over tables and synchronized and
Hmm?
it's they already got it. You know, kind of like what's that movie that not Terminator, but
I
uh
Robot.
no, I Robot and what's the other one where the robots take over and they fighting? I think what was it? Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. What's that? Yeah, Terminator. Is
Mm-hmm.
that Terminator?
The
Yeah,
Terminator.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like you said, if they put it in the movies, they got it because they getting the information from the ideas from somewhere. You know, it ain't like okay, Star Wars. Well, hey, they got some stuff that Star Wars.
Oh, hell
Star
yeah.
Wars, not Star Wars, but
Shit, they got
Star
space
Trek.
stations. They got space
Huh?
stations. They got space stations. I'm waiting to
Yeah,
see.
I'm talking about Star
Yeah,
Trek.
I'm waiting to see them start developing ships outside into in space from off the space station. That's when there's going to be some external going on in space, in deep space. But I'm still waiting for floating cars. I'm still waiting from some device where I can travel from here to Disney World at a drop of a dime. I'm waiting for that. I'm getting it. I'm putting my pennies.
No, they ain't gonna have that because it'd be too many people out there, man. People kill each other in cars, man. You imagine what everybody could fly at, the supersonic speed.
Well, the thing about it is because there are cars right now, and
Right, they can fly.
there's no doubt about it. A few summers ago, I remember, I was right up, uptown by the seawall, and there was a car in the water actually moving straight across. I remember it was a red, Ferrari or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have all of these things happening. You think that your eyes deceiving you, but you see a car in the freaking water driving across like James Bond. One of those type things. I saw that myself. So, like I said, we live. You spoke about a lot of the robots, how they're actually walking and jumping, and the dogs. I remember I was in Vegas when this first came out. Many years ago. So, if, like you said, if it's in the movies, yes, it's out. But there are also certain weaponry that they're not going to let you know about that's already out there.
They already allowed
you got to keep certain things secret. It's no different from when they had one of the bombers many years ago. It was the stealth bomber, and it was supposed to be a secret type. Then ended up in commercials. Everybody knew about it. It was no longer freaking secret. But it was the stealth bomber.
Just like
they had that at the air show in Atlantic City many years ago, and you won't know that bomber is over. You won't hear it until it's over you.
Yep.
And that's the time to hear it.
Like they got those weapons that like it's just sound or something, but it makes you feel like you burning. Because Trump wanted to use it in D.C. When he did that little walk across to the church that time, he did that photo op. And he wanted them to use it there, and they got it.
They have them on battleships. They use it in other countries. They got them on battleships. It's huge speakers that emanate a high frequency that really disturbs people. It works on their neural system, neurological system, and it's
based on decibels.
The technology is amazing, man. What people are willing to do to destroy one another. It's the same kind of concept. If they turned it around to use it to better human life, where would we be? But that's how it happens.
Most of the inventions and stuff is always seem like it's military or something like that. Before we get it,
Right.
And I mean, it's stuff like transistors and fiber optics. So the military had that before we got it, But the thing is that I don't know, man. And like I said, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I'm always. I guess somebody asked me the other day, said, "What's your religion?" I said, "The search for the truth."
Right.
That's it. That's it.
I tell you, when you was just talking about inventions this way, you would think about how these inventions are. Some of them, you'd be like, "What? It was what?" Like Nerf, the Nerf ball and Nerf all that stuff. That was created as a safety mechanism in military standings. When they really couldn't use it, all of a sudden it became a toy. The water gun, same situation, high pressure system to be able to use water in aquatic fights. All of a sudden it turned out to be, let's use it plastic and let kids play with it.
Yeah.
Concept. Somebody first came out with the air pistol and paintball guns. It was military. It's the same situation.
Oh, yeah. It's just like now they got these you were talking about guns and stuff. So now they come out with these things called less than lethal
less than lethal
guns. They shoot like rubber balls and stuff like that, pepper balls, and
Mm-hmm.
But the military had that first. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, we can get it. Let's give it to the people because we ain't got no use for it. I mean, the cops use it. Sometimes they don't use it as often as they should. But
communities. Not in our community. It's all lethal.
The thing about it is, Mo, because you have.
That's what I'm saying. They rather, instead of pulling out their stun gun, they're gonna pull out their revolver. I mean, their service pistol and shoot you up. They ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are a few occasions where they will, they use it because they got it. But I don't. Actually, what I'm saying is they got it first, and then they gave it to the civilians.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I just ordered me one. So, but I'm making mine lethal. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to pop somebody. I want to let them know that they've been popped. I want to hit with no paintball, you know.
Like,
So
I'm gonna shoot you.
I'm,
You gonna know you shot. That's
yeah,
right.
I'm making my own stuff. So
Okay. All
yeah.
right. You gonna start forging on the low. Okay, Dad, I got you. I got
Well,
you.
no, I'm buying this stuff, but I mean, I'm making some of my own ammunition.
I mean,
So
look,
like so instead of using like rubber balls, I mean that'll hurt, but
I'm gonna
it
shoot
ain't gonna hurt.
spaghetti at
But
people.
it ain't gonna hurt if I can make darts.
I'm gonna make a gun to shoot dry spaghetti at people. That's gonna hurt the shit out of somebody with dry spaghetti. Flying in the air.
You'd be surprised. Them things can shoot just about anything you can stick in that barrel. It'll shoot it.
Oh yeah, of course. But joking around and everything. But you know what? That's gonna be the industry of tomorrow. Also, gunsmiths and creators of weapons and stuff like that. They're gonna be at an all-time high sooner than we think. So if anybody's out there looking to do something career that's a little different, you might want to pick up that type of skill, being able to develop your own weapons and learn how to fix weapons and
yeah, they and matter of fact, you don't see too many gunsmiths. They're few and far between. Because I mean, there used to be and a thing where guys would get guns and they would modify them and and make them like their guns. Some guys still do, but it gets to be a little expensive. So, but now I mean, you can just about buy a gun the way you want it, in places where you can buy them like that.
maybe that's something I'll pick up as a hobby. I'll check out YouTube, how to be a gunsmith, and watch a whole bunch of videos and be a gunsmith on my own without owning a gun.
I mean, basically, you can. That's my baby calling me. I'm gonna have to ignore that call.
Oh,
Come on, shut off.
I'm assuming you said your baby as in your daughter.
This stupid thing. It's weird
That's
because
those
it rings in my tablet too.
There's those flip phones.
Let me turn the volume down. There you go. It shut off.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
That red button. It's all right. It's okay. It happens.
I was hitting the button, but it wasn't doing nothing.
Flip phones don't have red buttons, player.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's got the green button. Well, no, I mean on the screen you got the green button to accept the call and the red button to ignore it.
Yeah.
And normally what I do, I would have my Bluetooth on, so my Bluetooth would tell me you got a call coming in from so and so, accepted or rejected, and I can just say rejected and it just go away. But I don't have my Bluetooth on, so anyway. What can I say? I'm trying to get used to it, man. This technology.
I understand.
But anyway, what I was saying was, hey, boo boo.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Adrian.
What's up,
my baby?
Family reunion over here.
Yes, you're back on, huh, Dad?
Huh?
You're
Well, I said I'm gonna try to get on, and Mo was talking about some stuff, a precursor. I said, well, maybe it's some things that I, had some interest in or some input, but sometimes you guys be talking about stuff in Atlantic City, so I don't know nothing about that, so
right.
I can't get in
I'll
it.
start in the beginning. I'll talk about that to leave everything else later.
Okay, but anyway, how my baby?
I'm good, pretty good.
Good.
Well, the second job anyway, so yeah.
All right, y'all can have your own personal conversations. You both. Let me guess. You both have each other's phone number, right?
Yeah.
Well, we do, but for some reason, I can't get through as the way I'd like to.
Right.
The other babies calling them.
Well, I tell you what, but at least I can see you. I know you look content, so I'm good. So we don't have to talk all the time, just to know that you're doing okay.
She looks hemmed up. What'd you say?
Say what now?
Nothing. I'm just teasing.
He's messing with me.
Okay. Yeah, but
okay,
it's all good. No.
Definitely. I was waiting for the one-liner, man, because Adrian's usually the master of the one-liners on the show. But you were starting to come out with a couple of them. I said, oh, this is the Titans coming at each other. Let's see who's going to say something.
Huh? Okay. That must be an inside joke because you read over my head, man.
No. I said the one-liners, sayings that you said because
Oh, I see, Mr. Brown.
last week was Dilio. You said the Dilio.
Oh yeah, the Dilio.
And
They were laughing.
They were enjoying because these are statements from back in the day. So sometimes we resurface with some of the statements from back in the day, and we joke around with it. You know what I mean? So
Okay, the
that's all.
Delio. Huh?
Yeah, and then Adrian is famous for some of the sayings he says. So we have a segment called Adrian Says. So, when he says these statements, we want to make sure we highlight it. So I said,
okay.
He came back with a few statements of your own that was like just as iconic. I was like, uh-oh, y'all coming back one for one. I'm like, I'm waiting to see this joust match.
Well, some things never change. So, I'm not trying to bring some new stuff in. It's old school, and that's just me. I mean, I ain't trying. I'm not trying to, say all these because half these things that some of these kids be saying, man, I don't know what the hell they talking about.
Oh,
so
trust me, we're on the same page. Trust me, Dad. So in here, we hold it down. We're all more we're mature, so we try to hold it down and speak in the manners that we're accustomed to.
Respect the grade. Who typed that in? You?
Me.
Oh, okay.
Us. We all got grades. Even though Adrian keeps
really
going.
Not really.
I don't see the grade.
Adrian keeps nobody here to identify his age whatsoever.
Looking kind of biased, you know what I'm saying?
So he keeps his youth going, People,
yeah, well,
I
don't know. I got nothing new. So everything I say gonna be old school.
Okay.
I know, because I was cracking up at you, Dad, last week, because you're still crushing.
I'm still crushing. I
know.
I think I used that on Ja. He had sent me a picture of him and his little prom date or something. He went on too. I said he just crushing a lot. He ain't a player. He just crush a lot.
Right.
Yet again, a conversation y'all can have on the phone. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna go back upstairs, but I did see
new invention.
I saw Gina and Mr. Brown. I want to say hi to Gina and Brian.
You can do that.
I'm going upstairs, but I will be back.
Bye.
All righty.
She's usually on her computer going back and forth. I don't know what it is now. Gina, you coming on? Hopefully everybody's all right. Gina Talley was on a little earlier. She just left a message for us, but it's about that peak time when people stumble on. I wanted to see if Sandy comes on tonight. It is Sandy's birthday. He celebrated.
Yeah, in mine. Yeah, exactly.
You said in yours?
No, I said I thought of that while you was talking just now, Sandy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, hold up. Did we have a celebration again?
No.
Birthdays in
I have to wait while I was born late.
I got you. But the more and more we talk about the things, the more we start realizing how if we pay attention to shit, ain't nothing new. This all the weapons that we see was once one point in time militarized, and now it's all games. What do you think about? Give me your opinion about what's going on in Israel right now. I'm compassionate to the Palestinians, because I'm against the bullies. And to me, the government of Israel is the bully in this situation. I'm not saying Jews, but the government of Israel, I think, is the bully, and I'm always against bullies, anti-bullies. But
I'm kind of always put the underdog myself.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know what's going on, really, but what I'm seeing is, first and foremost, the Jewish government. See, they just rolled in there and just start taking stuff over.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, they, as I understand it, they've gone in there and said, well, we just kicking all these Palestinians out of their homes because we were trying to make some room for some Jewish folks, which is that's not it. So then I saw something like where they were like just going through town and just smashing all like these Palestinian shops, windows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of goes back to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
when they had the Night of Glass, where they just went around and just started smashing all the Jews' stores, fronts, and windows and stuff, and kicking them out of their homes, to make room for the German citizens. There's the same thing that they're doing to the Palestinians that the Jews did to them. I mean, that's what I see.
Are you talking about the Germans did to them?
Yeah, the Germans did to them, right?
So they're perpetuating what happened.
I may not have said it right, but you know what I said.
I got you because you dropped the gem. You said the Night of Glass. I wasn't aware of I don't think I've ever heard that term, the Night of Glass. It's something I'm gonna look into.
You should check it out. Yeah, that's when the Adolf Hitler, because if you look at say Trump and Adolf. Adolf tried to do a insurrection himself, but he failed.
Mm-hmm.
And but then he still kept his popularity, and he started the Third Reich. But anyway, back to the Night of Glass. That's what right after that they just went through and just started just beating up and any Jew they saw on sight. I mean, the same thing they doing in Israel right now. It's like I saw something where they had mobs of people just pulled this dude out of his car and just start just beating the crap out of him. And I mean, I'm not talking about 5 or 6 people. I'm talking about like hundreds of people. And that dude couldn't run nowhere.
Right.
They was on him like like ants or something. But yeah, no, I'm for the underdog, and I just never really, the Jewish government, I mean, they just rolled in there, and half of them folks, they have the Jewish religion, but they ain't Jews. They're
right.
They're from some Kakistan or somewhere,
Well, you know what? I think that's also the gray area, because some people, it's a religion, and to other people it's more than a religion. It's a nationality, it's an ethnicity. And I'm like, however you want to look at it, fine, whatever it is. But the truth of the matter is unfortunately, in our world today, some of us feel that one is always better than the other. Coexisting is something that we're going to have to learn how to do in this world for us to be able to manage. And this is probably an outcome of that. People just don't want to coexist. And most of the time in situations like this, it ain't about what we think it is. A lot of times it's some greed underneath it. Because I remember when Netanyahu was identified as being one of the people who had a development deal in the Gaza Strip. Like he owned a company that wanted to develop houses and stuff like that. So because they didn't have the property in Gaza Strip, they started moving, further colonizing in the Gaza Strip, taking people out who were just moved in and causing the issues. And then, matter of fact, he had to face their Supreme Court dealing about this stuff because it was criminal element. But this whole situation is still...
Let me kick this in. It's not only the Palestinians. Did you see where they're kicking out a lot of the so-called Black Jews?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. But I'm saying, so it's not. Yeah. So they just trying to, like I said, to me, they're the bullies, and I just, I have no compassion, no empathy for them, And
again, we stating that this is against the government. The mechanism, the government of Israel, not the Jewish people or the faith.
Right, exactly.
The government.
Like I said, I'm not trying to, make a big thing about it, But I mean, it to me, it's everything. It's everywhere, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, like here in the States, like you have a couple of Asian people, and and God knows, hey, I'm not down to them. But all of a sudden now they got all trying to pass laws and stuff to protect Asian people, and they've been killing us for years, man. Ain't nobody said nothing, Matter of fact, not only have they not said anything, they're basically saying we don't want to do anything about it.
Yeah, Well, you see how adamant the government and the Republican Party were supportive of this anti-defamation against Asians. They were so quick, but when that same discussion arose about slavery and the hardships that Black people have felt along the way, they wanted to be hushed and change the discussion.
Right.
It's so sad that that's the biggest crime.
I saw something that they were saying that the Asians had financially supported 80% of the Proud Boys program, whatever you want to call it,
Oh, yeah.
So financially, they gave like 80%. I think they got but that was for their defense or something about the insurrection,
Oh, okay.
But they had to know. I think they got I don't know. Anyway, it was 80%. I can't think of the figure, but they went back and looked at who was donating what, and they found out that 80% of were Asians.
I try not to worry too much about that because it was the same thing said about. I'm trying to remember. It was a Greek man that supposedly spent all this money helping Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all these other things.
Yeah,
Soros, right? George Soros.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to make him out to be a big bully and a boogeyman. And I'm like, ultimately, if we really to look at all that stuff about who supported this, who supported that, then maybe we should look at Saudi Arabia for what they did to the dismantling and the destruction of 9/11 and all the situation came about. Maybe we need to look at that. You know what I mean?
They financed that big time, I mean, it's just like, like what's that dude that he was the news correspondent or something and they killed him? And they basically said they did it. They basically said they did it. Kusugi or whatever his name was, Kasagi or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said they did it, but they just gave him, a little slap on the wrist. They didn't do nothing to him,
Right.
Well, the thing about it is, with that situation was the Crown Prince.
Right.
Crown Prince is the guy that actually had this guy murdered, was part of his party. The guys that actually murdered Khashoggi, there were some of them were executed or killed, but it leads all the way up to the Crown Prince.
They're only following orders.
So that's the situation with that. The other situation with Israel, the Palestinian, you're looking at Hamas, on one side, and then you're looking, the Hamas is the Palestinians. Then you have Boca Raton, those guys, Boca, they're like up north. So you're looking at the southern and the northern part of Israel. It goes all the way back to like the 1940s, the early, like mid 1940s. Whereas, America, a lot of the stuff that Israel has is American weaponry. America supports everything that Israel does. Netanyahu, he was one of those individuals that was actually taught and learned how to be American in the whole 9 yards. He was educated right here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is, when he gets back over there, a lot of people knew that things was going to go to hell when he first went into power. Right now, the government is investigating, Benjamin Netanyahu. He's a big-time Trump follower.
Oh, yeah.
A big-time Trump follower. It's no different from the guy that called, down Bolsonaro. This guy's down in Brazil. They call him the Trump of the South.
Oh,
he's the one that's going on down there with the variants and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
They're thinking about bringing him up on charges also, for what he's doing down there in Brazil. So a lot of these people were backed by America. You have to really know what's going on here. America backed a lot of these countries. And that's the reason why, a lot of these countries are going to hell in a handbasket. Mm-hmm. Because America can't seem to get their P's and Q's right.
Right.
So with the Palestinians, being down on the northern side of Israel, shooting off over about 2,000 rockets. A friend of mine was in the military, for Israel. So I get an up-to-date of what's going on a daily basis directly from Israel. So it's crazy. Then you have up north, you're dealing with the Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and some of these other guys are fighting another war right, up north.
Yeah.
Correct. So they pretty much being preoccupied.
Yeah, I guess if you really want to check into it, we are probably, when I say we, I mean the United States is probably backing both sides.
Oh, we're guaranteed we've always been.
The Israelis heavily because of the weaponry, but the Palestinians, they get a lot of the stuff from Iran. That's where they get a lot of their weaponry from. Iran
We
is
got
another.
it from, got it from us.
and who does Iran get their
But
weaponry from?
Us and Russia. Right.
the
So
thing
they
about
get it from us and Russia.
Yeah.
So they playing both ends, you know.
Yep. Yep. But listen, before we keep going, I want to welcome Jeff Dorsey on. Jeff Dorsey, what's up, brother? How are you?
Everything's good, brother. How are you?
We're well, man. We're just talking about life and how things are going. More concerned about how Palestine and Israel seem to be trying to settle their differences in a real bad way. And you know,
It's
we're
definitely.
trying to make it sense. My dog is hitting everything by mistake. I'm sorry, y'all.
You would think in a time when we have this plague killing off so many of our people, it's time to come together and be peaceful and to help each other. Instead, it's like hit them while they're down, take advantage of the situation of weakness that is worldwide, and take advantage of the distractions that are people dealing with the pandemic and attack. It's not.
Mhm.
It's definitely not the way we want to live.
Well, I mean, we understand how this is, but you know, sad to say, as we were talking about earlier, America is the most violent country on the planet. We are the most violent mechanism and supporting violence all over the world, man. We're backing people for financial gain. We create monsters from people to try to fight our fights for us, and then having to turn around and fight them after the fact when they're getting too big for their britches. You know, we celebrate these warlords and so on and so forth like they're leaders, and we create these issues, man. Sad to say that the mantra of America is no longer land of the free and home of the brave. We're no longer keeping that, man. We're a little different. Sad to say.
I would care to bigger that with you, man, but because I think that basically the world in general
Mm.
is crazy. Okay, so I don't know if we're the most dangerous country in the world because
Oh,
I
we
mean
are.
if you look at the news, you know, the only reason why I think is you know because well when you guys got more guns, you know, per capita than any other country, but that don't necessarily mean that there's no other violence going on. You know what I mean? My thing is like, okay, if they got rid of every gun in the country, just melted them down and made a statue or something, I don't know. But the situation is, you would still have some crazy ass people out there that would still they would beat you with a baseball bat. They would you know the status would go up. I mean, and you see on the news where a lot of people are getting stabbed, they're getting jumped on, beat up, you know, run over by cars, all kind of stuff, man. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. So I mean, you look at countries like where they, you know, they stone you to death for different crimes.
We remember we're talking about a secular state that's a little different than what we have. The way we deal with things are differently. We are the most violent country on the planet. The reason why, because we have the most altercations of violence. We have more violence based off of justice or the supposed justice. We have more violence between comfortable relationships or what have you, because other nations are a lot more stringent about things. So people are less likely to be violent because of the penalties. Where we support it, we have the largest military on the planet. Actually, I think we just regained that title. The largest military was China for a long period of time. I think we just recently regained it. So, and in the military, U.S. military, you know more than I do. They teach you how to be violent if necessary for violent situations. They teach you how to manage violence. So,
Yeah.
violence is part of the fabric of America, and we are the best ones to be able to manage it. There's some other people that master certain martial arts and so on and so forth, but we're the only nation in the world where we'll kick your ass one way or the other. We'll find some way, and kicking your ass is something that we celebrate. We celebrate that more than we've celebrated anything else.
Well, okay, I'll give you that one. But my thing is that you know, I mean, I don't know. It seems like I don't know if you can blame it on the you know the pandemic, but people are losing it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like the fuses are shorter or something. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, so I'm through with with this, but you know me, I'm a big gun advocate, and all this stuff that's going on nowadays makes me want to have more.
Well, I said that earlier. I said that in the beginning of the precursor.
Yeah.
I said so I'm not. I was at one point in time not as much as an advocate as I am now, but I understand why now, and I'm supportive in becoming even more of an advocate because when other people are coming at you crazy, you got to match their crazy to protect yourself. You know what I mean? But do so in the same way.
Well, it's just like the only reason why I don't have more is because first of all, I got enough. So people ask me like, "Well, man, how come you got all them guns, man?" I said, "Well, look, when the poo poo hit the fan, I want to have a posse, and I want my posse to be just as well armed as me."
Mr. Irvington, I
So,
got a question. What does enough mean?
The what?
What does enough mean?
Enough?
Yeah. Where makes it
Okay.
enough?
I see what you're saying. Well, I don't know. I don't have
I got two
off the top of my head a physical count, but I got a lot of them. Okay, I got a lot.
He got rifles. He got all kinds of.
I got rifles, shotguns, ARs, AK-47s.
He can do his own training session.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I'm a collector of replicas. So I can go out in my backyard. I have a range set up in my backyard because a lot of times you go to these gun ranges and stuff, they're very restrictive. You can't have your gun in the holster. You can't, shoot more than, one round every 4 seconds or some mess like that. So I have a range set up in my backyard so I can go through my little drills, to be ready for a real deal situation. But and I'm always willing to train anybody. But like I said, I would put it this way: for each rifle or shotgun that I have a pistol to be the sidearm.
You know, it's a funny commonality here. Y'all that are vertically challenged. All of y'all have a lot of weapons, right, Jeffrey?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, well, I don't know how you would classify us as being vertically challenged because just because you Sasquatch,
Hey Mo,
you gotta put all us down,
No,
we're all average height. I don't know about my mother brothers over there. I don't know how tall you are, but I consider myself to be average.
I'm only teasing you. I'm gonna
leave this alone in a public forum.
I'm only teasing you.
Yeah.
Right. What'd you say?
I got you, John. I got a buddy who's got 20 acres, and we have a range set up
Uh-huh.
there. And so we get out there and do a little damage. Have a little fun.
Yeah.
Got a little mobile.
Let's not say
set up so we can.
I don't know with the scarcity of ammo, which isn't a problem for me because I've been stockpiling for years. So
yeah, I hear you.
So like I said, I got enough. Actually, if my house ever caught on fire, I'd be standing outside telling the fire department, I wouldn't go in there if I was you. I wouldn't go in there if I was you.
I heard that. Definitely.
But yeah, you got to have a ammo case with figuring 10, 15 fully loaded magazines for each rifle. And
when you're in a state that only allows you 10 rounds at a time, you definitely
then you jungle mag. Do you jungle?
Quite a few backups.
Huh? You jungle mag.
You definitely need backups. Yeah.
So they're trying to mess that up too now because they try to come out with making it legal to have, even though you have a 10-round mag, they don't want you to have them coupled. Because I got couplers that fit on the bottom of them, like my Magpul mags. And so actually you got a 20-round mag. All you do is take the one out, flip it, you stick it back in there. Well, when we was in Nam, they call them jungle mags.
I mean,
where you was actually tape two magazines together.
I mean, this is the state of New Jersey. I think that in the next 5 years, we're definitely we're going in the direction where I think that we're gonna have to be designated throwers because they don't want us to trigger no more. Throw it at 'em.
Well, I tell you, I think they're trying to.
We're gonna play
The
darts.
feds are trying to. They're trying to Californianize the country.
Californianize. That's a good one.
And they came out, I think, a couple of years ago, where your gun had to be featureless of certain things, or it would be considered to be an assault weapon.
Understand?
Oh man, we got the queen up in here, Toya. What's up, Toya?
The troublemaker. Hey everyone.
And please,
Hey.
Hey.
How y'all doing? I just finished another Zoom up.
Okay. Yeah, this is my colleague in city council. She's one of those pioneers in the community, worked really hard. And if you didn't know, Jeff Dorsey is also in a community person. He owns a company that's a construction company, worked tirelessly in the community, helped out quite a lot, and he's now throwing his hat in to run to fill in a position that I'm giving up, if not take over one of the positions that need to be taken away, which is the council president's position. I wasn't supposed to say that, was it?
Somebody better take his spot.
So we were talking about guns and everything. My dad is an advocate of guns, and I was talking about earlier how we're seeing too many guns in the community, and we're seeing a lot of more gun violence, and we don't see the right attention the way it is.
I think we see too many guns in the wrong hands. I don't.
Of course. I mean, that's without saying.
Well, it starts off in the right hands and then it ends up in the wrong hands. That's the problem.
Yeah, of course.
It starts off in the right hands and it ends up in the wrong hands.
Right.
Ironically, I grew up in a house where my mother did not like guns. We were given cap guns for Christmas gifts one year, and they disappeared like 2 weeks later, and we didn't know why. But my stepfather, he's from the Bahamas. He was a World War II pilot, and he was a pistol guy. But he dealt with cash. He drove the neighborhoods. He delivered for Lincoln Pharmacy. Most people know Randolph. That's my stepfather. So, he fancied himself a pistol, but he was a military man, and he delivered and dealt with a lot of cash. So, with good reason. I really didn't get so much into it in the younger years because you raise children, and you have different concerns about children. And in my older years, I got my license, and then I got, my daughter Gabby. She has her permit. She now wants to be a state trooper, so we're gonna take her out. My wife has her permit. She has. We have a few. God forbid the Puerto Rican wife with a pistol, but
I know that. So I was like,
it happened.
Yeah,
some of us like to live dangerously, but anyway.
Most important is safety, but I'll say something that Mr. Overton will like. I recently came across the double-barrel shotgun made in Belgium in about 1894 in a renovation project that my client bought, and I said, "There's a shotgun in here. Can I have it?" And they said yes. It's a beautiful old 2-barrel with the 2 springs. It's
independent barrel.
Independent barrel with independent triggers. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, but I leave it that way because a lot of the old ones, they had problems with splaying barrels.
You don't know what kind of bodies that one's got.
But it's
Belgium.
Beautiful. It's
From
made
Belgium?
in Belgium. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably one of those ornate, engraved,
yes,
gold inlaid. I'm not that fancy, so I just stick to the old. I got about like 3 pump 12 gauges, and then my favorite is Benelli semi-auto.
I got a back.
Which I basically extended the magazine so it'll hold up to like 10 rounds, and
You're
That
not
thing
in
is
New
just
Jersey.
spray and
You said
pray.
you said 6 rounds. We're in
Huh?
New Jersey. You said 6 rounds. We're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in New Jersey.
Oh,
Dad,
I'm in
okay.
California.
um,
I'm in California, so we could have up to 10 rounds
Oh,
for
gentlemen,
anything.
I just
please.
picked up a home defense pump action with the magazines in them, the 5+1.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
This was another
Yes.
show.
You know,
This was another
you
show.
know, I love you guys, but we're talking a lot about guns and stuff like this, and we're going to try not to. I
You
think there's
brought it
another.
up.
I think
You
there's
brought it
other.
up. There you go. You brought it.
I know, and that's just more inclusion wise. But I want y'all, because I think there's a lot of pertinent issues that we should touch on a little bit moving forward. I know Toya, she's been adamant about something, and Jeff, I know you've been in the background speaking your 2 cents about the same situations. So I just want to give Toya a second to be able to speak on some of the concerns that she said, because I mentioned earlier about the 29-page document that's being presented. It's an allegation being made about officials based on sexual assault on children here in the city, and it's engaging or including elected officials and other high-standing personnel in a school district. And so I also said, do you have the time of the meeting, Toya? What time is supposed to be the meeting on Tuesday?
Well, speaking on that meeting, I just found out maybe like 30 minutes ago that it's going all virtual again. It's no longer going to be in person and virtual. So they're trying to play games with us. But I think that we as Atlantic City, forget the political hat that we may wear. Like we as humans, we as Americans need to stand up against this monster, right? Because let's call it what it is. It's a monster, and fight this. There's no way you should have control over the MUA, Atlantic City School Board, City of Atlantic City, City of Pleasantville School Board, and then you talking about you having an Atlantic County takeover. We're not doing that. The reality of it is, you called it for what it is. Mo, the meeting is going to be all virtual, but you could be virtual, you could be whatever it is. I'm not going to be quiet because if y'all don't know anything about me, I stand up for the children.
Absolutely.
And you could be my friend, my mom, dad, cousin. If you think it's okay for you to do these type of things to children and get away with it, then you have a problem. We have a serious problem, because I can say even me, like I said, I told someone exclusive been around since 2008. We still practicing outside. Even as an elected official, we still outside, right? And you outside even more now because it's personal than anything, but I'm okay with that. We're going to be outside. We're going to make it work. But what you're not going to do is think you're going to manipulate our children, our parents. This man had the opportunity to have access to over 4,000 students in our district. And I can say as a parent with a student in a district, I have not received one email, call, notification saying, hey, your child might have been, or this predator was in your school. None of that. So we have a lot of people who don't know, but with further research, and I find out that this individual, right, will be sentenced in about 2 weeks, right? And I plan on going to the sentencing.
Right.
Zoom, in person, it doesn't matter. This person here
who's already admitted his guilt, right?
Admitted his guilt in his public record. If you go on NJ, justice.gov, you can see it all. You like all of the stuff is there. So it's not like we've seen it. But the part that hurt me the most was yesterday when I read the article by news media and I seen the documents attached, and I seen the level of involvement with some of our own people. I got a problem with you. It's not personal. It's a problem. This man preyed on our students. Not only did he get sent from Pennsylvania Avenue School when he should have been fired then, he shouldn't have had a chance to get to the rest of the schools. He went to Texas Avenue. He went to South. He went to Richmond. Those are our forgotten communities. Those are our communities, Hispanic communities, a lot of different language barriers over there. Has anyone reached out to those parents and say, hey, your child may have been?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Right.
So it's like, are we going to sit here and be quiet because of who it is? And I had someone say to me, so we're going to just say, forget this person and vote for a white man? This ain't about black and white. This is about right and wrong. This ain't about Republican and Democrat. This is about protecting your own, protecting our children, our seniors, which were unprotected. If you look at this history, this has been going on since 2015, according to paperwork. But when you go further, I could tell you, being a product of Atlantic City, it goes deeper than now. Mm-hmm. And some of these same individuals are involved. Mm-hmm. So what do? You sit back and be quiet. Don't say anything. You can't say anything because no, I'm going to say something. If what I'm saying, you don't agree or you don't like what I'm saying, you know what? Excuse my French. The hell with you, because our children was hurt. And when you look at the records, it's more than one. We only seen one come to surface so far. Who are the rest? Is it our students at Sovereign? Is it our students at Richmond? Is it our students over here that don't know to say something?
Right. We're too scared.
Who's going to advocate and go speak to those individuals and say, hey, was it you? Was it you? Was it you? Mm-hmm. Right. So now the school board meeting is not going to take place. It's going to take place on Zoom where they got the I've been trying to,
to block people, right?
They block us. So I signed up. Now I got to sign up under different names just to try to get through, because if I sign up with my name, they're not letting me through. But if I sign up with Joe Blow, they're going to let me through. And then when they realize it's me, they kick you out. That's a problem, because these same individual has access to our Zoom, whether it's on the city side, the school board side, whatever it is. And they have the opportunity to block us out. But I think we need to unite. And if you for the people and you for the children, we have to stand up. And it's not about you as the councilman, Mo, me as a councilwoman, you as the mayor. It's not about that. We got to take that part out and look at the facts. And the facts of the matter is he sentenced in 2 weeks and he admitted to A, B, Z, C, X, Y, Z. That's what we need to pay attention to.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that earlier on, I just touched on it with the purpose of informing people that the meeting takes place on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And for it to be something that it should be on everyone's radar, those who live here in Atlantic City, because ultimately the outcome is going to impact all of us. If the outcome suggests that the court case happens and the alleged allegations are true, then the city has to pay exorbitant amounts of money, and all the residents are the ones paying this, paying for it one way or the other. But the ultimate cost is the cost of the child's welfare, the mental health that the child are suffering through.
Right. And now, I'm sorry, I want to cut you off. Now that you're saying about the mental health part, have this student that we know about, right, that came to surface, have they been offered mental support?
Right.
Anything? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we could be on here for days if you want me to really tell you. It's so much that happened at that school amongst so many years that you cannot make it up. You have to think about it. And I'm gonna go back and I pray for the family. I know the family. We lost a student, right? Mm-hmm. That was, what was he? Angel. He was 13.
Angel. Yep.
Let's think about it.
Yeah.
Angel mom came forward, although she got a language barrier. I understood it very well. And she said, my son was being picked on, my son was being bullied. But what we do know is her son left school and went to the next corner and got shot and killed. Yeah. But we can, the person who did it, did they time, went to jail, did this. But the fact that he was reporting that he was being bullied, or he was reporting this happened or this, that, where do the people lie where he reported it? Where was the level of protection? They said that he ran back to the school. Where was that level of protection for our children? There is none. And both families suffer till today. The victim and the person who ultimately went to jail, but we forgetting the middle person. And the middle person was you, who you reported it to.
You know what? And you reminded me about it, because Angel used to come to my office back around, and I'd have interactions with Angel and the rest of the kids. So when that happened, it really hurt. as I saw the innocent. All I thought was this innocence that I saw in this young man. He was a little small kid too. He wasn't a big kid. Wasn't out overly pronounced and anything like that. Wasn't too loud and stuff like that. So I found it really odd. And even the disposition that happened, I was like, wow. You know, the other kid had issues, and the minute somebody say something to him, he snaps. But again, it just goes all into the play how we're not taking ownership of our own community. Even if the situation may have been started in a school, it's still part of the community. The school is part of the community. And we have to play a greater part of being responsible about how the school manifests and how it works within the community, how the things that are impacting one another in the community, because it's our community, it's our kids. And the minute we think it's not us and turn our cheek, like I said, that's when problems erupt. And I have a major problem. I've been having a major problem for years about that, man. You got to claim all our kids, man. Claim their lives and claim their safety and do a better job of it. We're not doing it.
I personally feel that it's our job, no matter what, to help in our community, to look out for those in our community that are in danger of things and in need of mentorship or in need of protection. And it doesn't matter if you're, a stay-at-home mom, or you're a councilwoman like Miss Dunstan, advocating for our community as she does. I don't know her well, but I understand she's had an award-winning drill team. She's worked and done many great things, I believe, with the youth in the community. I myself believe that we need to expand that advocacy, and we need to unite some of these forces in ways that empower them more. I am a strong supporter and a donor and a volunteer for a young woman who, Mo, I think Evelyn Cortez, and she has Crossroads for Angels, and we've done events. She's raised money, and this is her primary focus is abused children, and I've always helped and I've always advocated with her for the children, as well as some of the other things.
What?
I think we need more people like Evelyn getting into our community and speaking to our children
I'd like to get them from that
in unobtrusive
Oriental market.
will allow our children to feel comfortable and safe to talk about what's going on. I'm still, if Latoya, if you have that report, if it's a public report, I'd like to see it, because I'm waiting to see the documents. I'm very interested in finding out how this, I can't even call him a young man because it's a predator, it's an animal. How this former person, was allowed to be cleared by the state and then got a job with the Division of Family Services is beyond me. But we're truly waiting to see who's accountable for this and who cleared this, because heads need to roll. This is a complete failure of this system to protect our children. And while some people focus in some areas, I'm looking at the responsibility from the top down, and I'm waiting to see what information comes out after this case is closed, because right now I'm sure it's an open case and they don't release information, but I'm looking forward to an Oprah Act request for this entire file so that we can actually delve into the entirety of this case and find out exactly what truly went on and who was involved and who cleared this man of this primary accusation and allowed him to go on to work with our children. And there's culpability there, and I believe that accountability is due. And as soon as we can get that information, I stand side by side or in front of anyone else that wants to take up this cause for accountability against any and all parties that were in any way connected to this furtherance or happening at all.
It is public record. Some of the documents thus far. If you go to justice.gov and you type in names, it'll come up. Or if you even go to Linda Cohen, she's been following this. This is not even new news. I think Linda been reporting on this since probably like 2 or 3 years now. But nobody wasn't paying attention to it. So if you go to her page regarding it yesterday and click on it, you'll see all the legal documents there. And you'll be able to read it and you decipher what it is that you think. But for me, it's like I read enough. I did my own research. I followed up. And for me, I can't say that this is like you said, it's about accountability. Whoever was involved, there you go. Whoever was involved, that's what it is. And I mean, if you scroll down, well, I can't even say where. Like I'm trying to.
This is second page. It's 29 pages. I'll make it available. I'll send you the same link that I got. It's
Or Mo, see if you can go to the press thing, because they broke it down a little bit more, even though that's Linda's and it's right there. But if she can legal document
AC Primetime.
Yeah,
I mean breaking AC, because this is
Press of Atlantic City.
They might block me as always.
Yeah, I hear them too.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're not the first to block you, Mo.
Huh?
I'm not sure they're not the first to block you.
Yeah, it's not the first. There's a lot of people in there. Because I couldn't see anything dealing with that guy.
You know, I got booted from your show a couple minutes ago. I had to log back in 3 times. I kind of felt like I was in council meeting again when they booted me and locked me out.
I don't know about all that. You had technical issues. That happens sometimes. I thought you was stepping out. But
it was. It said I had an internet connection issue.
Right.
I had to change my. I'm sitting home.
Yeah, we run into that stuff. We were blaming our colleague's family in India, but we know that that's not the case, right, Adrian? But this is the case. This is the article that's on the front page of the news, and I'm trying to see where the document is. Even the law, it did go blocking me. There you go. Anyway, that's them blocking me. But it's them. It's available there. It's available all through the news. It's actually reached national standpoint because I got it on a prompt earlier that was sent to me. I was like, oh, okay. And it's basically the same document everybody else has. There's no real difference from one to the other. 29 pages, it breaks it down in general. But there's others. There's like an investigation that apparently took place that's still going to play some role into it. We don't know to what degree. We're hoping to see what the end result is as far as the investigation is. I got it on a prompt earlier that was sent to me. I'm sorry, that's me trying to get back into the Facebook messages. Guys, there's no real difference from one. There you go again. Sorry, y'all. So that's the dilemma right now. So that's the big issue right now because it doesn't seem to be taking up enough space in people's minds for us to be riled up about it. Like when we get riled up when you see an officer take the life of a black man on the street, regardless of the background behind it, but we don't see the enough warrant to stand up and be loud about a predator preying on children, and then a syndicate or network of individuals protecting these predators. So, I don't know.
When we fail to stand up for each other and for others, whether we know them or not, when we fail to call out wrong for wrong, when we fail to intercede in things that happen in our community, we are complicit.
Yes, we are.
I'm not to toot my own horn. I was standing in front of Boys and Girls Club this morning. 2 gentlemen started arguing with each other. One's on a bike. The other one is threatening the one on the bike who just stopped. And I'm thinking, ride off, brother, ride off. And these are 2 big guys. You know, each of them 250, probably close to 6 foot, hefty guys. And I get out of my truck. I start walking toward him just to try to get him, to break up and go away. The guy picks up the bike and is about to slam the other guy in the head.
Wow.
His bike. I said, yo, there's a camera right there. Walk away.
Wow.
They looked at me. They thought about it. I was like, get out of here. We got cameras all over this place. And that got them at least to stop. And then the other guy walked over to me and said, I don't give a F. I just came back from prison. I don't care if it's a camera. But at least it stopped in the moment what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And at that moment, that man didn't get hit in the head with a bicycle. Simple things that we can do, 3 seconds of our time to try to quell some of the madness that happens in this world. If we all try that, we could make a difference.
Absolutely. And I applaud you for that. Because that's what I was saying earlier. I've been talking that to different people. It's going to take all of us to put some sort of effort to try to change what we need changed in the interaction with people. We're talking about human beings. We're not talking about robots. We're not talking about anything else. Regardless of how the disposition is, still a human being. It could be something that you say could inspire a person to stop and change their whole framework in mind and protect their lives and protect the lives of anybody else that could potentially be in there. It could be the smallest thing. Who's to say? But we all got to stand up. But this is a situation that's growing, and we have to be very mindful. And you know what? One of the things that really it gets under my skin that we play this game of politics. And the game of politics is dirty because of the people who are dirty in it. Politics is just the art of negotiation. That's what politics means, right? But if we're not communicating, there is no negotiation. If you're mandating things to the public and they're to digest it, then that's not a communication. It's not an equal communication. So it's not politics, it's politics. And this happens too often. We're a small town here. And we act like we got bigger britches than we do. And we allow negativity to manifest where it should not, because too many of us play into it. There's a financial benefit. There's an egotistical benefit. There's a sociological benefit, it seems, for a lot of them. A lot of people who integrate themselves into it, who perpetuate this stuff.
Right.
And a small town like us, as I said before, Dad, because you came here before and you've been here before, everyone's related.
Right.
And everyone knows each other. So there's no way in hell we should have this much adversity and vitriol and hatred and lack of self-respect and respect for life as much as we do. It shouldn't be like that.
I'm new to the politics, and I will say this. My intention is not to be a politician. My intention is to be a statesman. And to the end, I find a lot of the things that people they swallow the pill. They say, well, I didn't want to do this, but I couldn't get elected before, so I guess I have to play the game the way it's going to be played. And my response is, I'm not willing to play a game. I've been in the background where you could do a Where's Waldo at public events, helping the community. And if you start looking around, you're not going to see me in the front photo op. You're going to see me in the back here and there, and my guys and my wife and my kids. We're not looking for photo ops. And I ran into someone who wasn't a supporter at the time, who said to me about another entity that I do business with, the Cedar Market. And she says, oh, they don't do nothing for the community. I said, ma'am, they do a lot for the community. Yeah. If I had 3 days, I couldn't explain to you what they do for the community. She says, oh, BS. I said, ma'am, let me prove a point. Do you know who I am? She says, no, I don't. I said, I'm Jeff Dorsey. I own Dorsey Construction. I currently have 40 employees. 90% of them are Atlantic City residents. I'm born and raised in Busby. I'm on the Boys and Girls Club. I'm an executive chairman for the safety facilities. I'm on the Police Athletic League. I'm on the Hispanic Alliance. I'm on NAACP, which I'm now vice chair of housing. I was a founding member of Future Leaders. I'm on the County Workforce Development Board. I'm in 2 submit committees with our troubled youth. These are just a few of the organizations I'm part of. You've never heard of. So don't look at what's on the surface. A lot of people are putting in work, not looking for pictures and accolades. But as we go through this political process, it's important that people now know what we're doing in the community so that they can realize who you are and what your work is and what you can do or would like to do for the community in a continuing effort. As part of the NAACP, we just advocated for senior villages. If you saw today, they announced that they're going to give the residents a 1-month rent reprieve for the conditions over there. Of course, Khalim Shabazz championed that fight, and we called for accountability. I sent a very specific set of questions to the director, and then we sent a follow-up email asking for accountability on another property as well. So it was the residents got not only accountability, but they got a little more. So they got a rent reprieve. So, you holding people's feet to the fire is one thing, but I find that too often people use the political process and they use the bully pulpit instead of relationship business. Relationship business is what I've always had. I'm in a unique position now where I have to step back because people know them in politics and they look at me a little different. I had an interaction the other day with a public works employee and I was bitching about something that needed to be done. And he says, "Oh, people always get like this when they get into politics." I said, back up. This is not political. I'm just talking to you because I know you for 20 years. I'm just asking you to get something done. Maybe I was a little too comfortable with you. I forgot about the politics. I forgot how the perception can be. I'm not trying to go in that route. We just chatting like regular people about stuff. I'm not coming at you. I'm just, asking for help in a different place. And he stepped back and, we started joking and playing and jacking like we normally have. But people are so used to people getting political and using that bully pulpit to try to make others look bad. To use that bully pulpit to force people to do things instead of going to someone that they have a relationship with and go, "Hey, Mo, I know you're back Maryland, brother. I got somebody back Maryland. Can you help me out? Can you advocate for them?" And that's the relationship business that we're supposed to be in. The relationship business that you as a social worker did for so many years back there that put in the work, that got you in the position you are, that got you the support, that you were able to advocate for those tenants back there in a non-political manner that was converted to some politics. And that is what's most important. The relationship and the respect that you give is what will give you success, not the political bullying that some people try to do.
I totally agree. And we have to apply that more. You know what I mean? The relationships is what we need. But with that specific connotation, I think that's the problem that we're having now. We don't have strong relationships anymore, man. We don't have the relationships with the right people anymore. The relationships that we have are more social, more jovial, which is fine. You know what I mean? Those are up. Dad, you all right there?
Yeah, man. I missed my senior citizen sabbatical today, so
I got you. Okay, so we're lacking relationships where we need to. You know what I mean? And I think we are paying for it. So we're on recovery mode. So
right.
That's where I think it's necessary for you. And I appreciate the fact that you're able to spend some time with me here. And I told you before, I need you to come on so people recognize the person that you are.
I tell you, the thing is, I appreciate the invite. I got home from work and I had told the wife we were going to have one-on-one dinner because my daughter was away, but I was in the office finishing up some paperwork, doing some campaigning, and
you finally got one-on-one because I saw you had a dinner.
It didn't happen.
Guest.
It didn't happen. I was paying the campaign, came home, and I had my brother with me. So it wasn't an intrusion. It was my brother. So it was my brother with me. We had dinner, and then I dropped your boy off, AB. And he was like, And I told him, I keep telling him, I got to make sure I catch Mo's show. And as I was driving to drop him off, he's like, I think you missed Mo's show again. I said, nope, I can log in right now. The last time I told him that, he said, we're on for hours. Just catch me late. And that's what I did. I logged in. But
there you go.
But it takes, it takes a village. It takes a village. So
absolutely.
That's most important.
For people that's just tuning in, this is the new norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. We have a panel discussion. Blessed to have my brother, always chief administrator for the network, is Adrian. He has been kind of shy from giving us the classic one-liners today, but we hopefully get a one or two down the line. We were able to have some discussions about local issues that are really pertinent. And we encourage you, if you're interested, and you should be interested, we hope that you're interested on a local level, to attend and or be aware of the meeting that's going to take place on Tuesday affecting the school board and the impending issue that is still being negotiated and or added on to this new document and allegation that's been added to, that's going to increase the tension, or as I said earlier, it's going to raise up the local political temperature that's going on. So we're going to see the true essence of individuals as we go along, because I'm always famous for saying people will show you who they are. You just have to be willing to accept what you see as the truth.
Can I ask a question? Maybe you know the answer to. I saw that they were calling for the president to be changed because of a member that was reinstated. Did that happen?
You know what? That's still pending. My understanding is that the school board president, they tried to push the election, right? First they said they took the guy's opportunity to be able to vote. They took it from him. The solicitor, their solicitor said not to record his vote. And they actually took his vote away from him during a real pivotal time so they can decide who the next president would be. And if they would have allowed it to happen, he would have regained his position. So because they took it away from him, and then he won his case.
He won his case, and the judge said before, he said while it's under appeal, his votes all have to count, and they go back. So who's our board president right now?
It's still, if I'm not mistaken, still Shay. Toya, do you know? Are you still on?
I thought John Devlin was
the president.
And then I thought Barry
and he was the one advocating for an investigation.
I thought Barry was going to get it back.
What's going to get back? What back?
Was he going to get that position? The school board chair.
Barry's the superintendent.
Right.
So
and then they were calling for an independent investigation to hire an outside attorney. And I wasn't sure because again, I'm new to some of these processes. Why do they lack the confidence in our existing attorney for school board to be able to do this investigation that they wanted to hire someone additionally outside?
It's to keep it neutral, to make sure that there's no bias.
So they feel that the existing solicitor who represents the board is biased?
It's a potential, because how can the person investigate and then potentially prosecute or push case against the body that they're supposed to protect? So it's a situation where it's a question of morality and ethical value.
So it's a matter of I guess on the technical term, they should have requested that the solicitor recuse himself from that investigation if it's about the board.
And I think that's partially what happened. She recused herself, and I think she may have negated, and I could be wrong, I think she may have negated her ability to be able to be involved in this investigation. So she had to recuse herself because she initiated the processes to get in the way anyway.
Okay.
So I think that's the case, and I could be mistaken. So,
okay,
but it's ongoing, man. The politics in the city is heavy all over the place. It's so many games. I swear, everyone should be master chess with all the games being played all over the place. Adrian, you gonna say something?
Yeah, speaking about all the games that's being played in Atlantic City, because I noticed that the state just passed a law recently to actually extend the takeover of the city of Atlantic City for the next 4 years.
They're talking about it.
Yeah.
They're about to push on. They're trying to get the
with all the stuff that's going on. I mean, with all of the craziness that's going on in Atlantic City, you know, some of them, you know, make a lot of people on the outside wonder, is that a good freaking move? You know, because it seems like Atlantic cities have a hard time handling its business.
Well, you know what? And we've been saying this before. Latoya and I have been fighting, as well as my brother Jeffrey. And every once in a while, we've had Jesse Kurtz jump in line and fight with us. But what it seems is like the state is throwing enough of a noose, enough rope for us to create a noose, and people have been taking that and running with it and choking our resources and taking them and exploiting them. So they're like justifying this need. Mazzio, who's supposed to help and support us, is the one that's pushing for this takeover to be extended.
Exactly.
What they did is the extension would have been 5 years, but he resubmitted it with a strike of the 5 years and included 9 years. But in addition to that, what he's trying to do is have a piecemeal to suggest that civil service will be returned. However, there's going to be some litigation involved in that because some of the safe gates or some of the technicalities involved will negate for the same safeties or protections that civil service provides the employees. You can't have the overseer be the person to judge here and there. It just doesn't work. That's not an ethical validation right there. So it's a big problem.
Yeah, and then the way I read the article, it sounded like Sheila had said that she was thinking about 5 years or a possibility of 4 years instead of 5 years. And my understanding was that Mazzio was pushing for 4 years. And then I started hearing that it's 9 years. So again, I'm waiting documents on what's going on because, I mean, I can understand if they say 4 years, they're kind of saying, well, let's see what this administration does. And if this administration coming in does their thing, then we'll reassess at the end of this administration. And then, it's new ball game at the end. But if they're saying 9 years, that's just saying we know that there's nobody at the top that we really, I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like that shows a lack of confidence in our ability to do what we can do.
It undermines the city.
It's specifically undermines
to function.
It has nothing to do with how well we can manage because we've proven for over a decade that we do a really good a good job at managing our debt, managing our services, what have you. However, we've had to accept a lot of debt from the state side because they're constantly sending all these different contractors to evaluate this, to survey that. Yeah. And we've been made to digest this debt like if it's our own. There's no way in hell do we, under the circumstances, should be accumulating such grandiose amounts of debt. In addition to all these individuals who are now coming on payroll at almost double the rate that most people who've been working there 10, 15 years are. They're just coming on and they're not accredited. They're not, they're not certified to do some of these positions. These just, as they say, it's a job given because of politics. And it's too much and it creates moral issues. It's not to say that these people don't deserve jobs. It's just under the condition and under the whole process. It's unsafe and it's unfair to the people who are working really hard.
It reminds me of that Bugs Bunny cartoon where Elmer Fudd took that insurance policy. You guys remember that back in the day? Elmer Fudd took an insurance policy. It was like, if he gets hurt, and he tried to cash it and he read the fine print and it was like, if you get stampeded by 100 animals in a rainstorm on a Sunday, there was like 100 different caveats, like crazy little rules.
I gotta check that one out. But no, I don't think I've seen that one.
I feel like some jobs are created like that insurance policy. They're made so specifically weird that only like certain people can qualify for them, kind of like their designer.
But the strange thing about it also, because you look at Murphy's up for re-election come next year. So even if they go 4 years down the pipe, now Atlantic City is in the hands of an unknown individual who might end up winning an election. Who knows? So that's a torture for the city of Atlantic City because you don't know who the next governor is going to be. Mm-hmm. But he's going to actually run this entire state, obviously, and who the hell knows? So Atlantic City, it doesn't look good. is what I'm actually saying from my perspective.
It's just, I've been saying this from the onset for people that have been paying attention. Since 2009, the state has been salivating, trying to put their hands on us, creating it more and more difficult every time, trying to justify a takeover, per se. They're not trying to take over the debt. They're only trying to take over the benefits and how to make sure that they continue to funnel the benefits out of the city and into the coffers and support systems that support them. You know, it's one of those type of things that I keep saying the same thing. If you check the names of some of these people getting these contracts in the city, I can almost guarantee that you will see that same name on donors lists, financial records in some of these politicians up north, because it's not against the law for them to donate when they don't get services from them. So they'll get it indirectly through us because of the mandate. So let's click about it.
I'd like to see an open request for true accounting of all the costs associated with the state overseeing us, i.e., anything that's not in a city pre-existing job. I'd like to see an accounting of every consultant we've paid because the state required it, whether it's Jim Johnson or anybody else. Everybody that we had to pay because the state required us to have them. I'd like to see those economics, and I will bet you that if we weigh that against our debt, we would be in a better place without it.
You know the thing about it too, Mo, because if you look at Las Vegas, because everybody talk about how booming Las Vegas is, but a lot of the money stay within that particular, proximity. In New Jersey, a lot of the money is funneled out, funneled out of Atlantic City, not put into Atlantic City. Also, Atlantic City would have been a gem of the East Coast. You still have, dilapidated roads and the whole 9 yards.
Las Vegas,
so, everything is being mismanaged here in Jersey.
Las Vegas is
it's
also
like the mob is running the place.
Public housing is not something that Las Vegas really cares about, and we do here. So it's a bit of a different environment. If we were looking to be a purely commercial city like Las Vegas and just disregard our civic responsibility to our community and to our public housing element, then it would be a different city. But we're not Las Vegas for that reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we get that. There's a lot of land in between, a lot of real estate between there and here. That's obvious. But for the simple fact that a lot of the money doesn't stay in Atlantic City, Mo said it himself, it leaves Atlantic City. But whereas, it was just like a parallel I was trying to make. Maybe I didn't make my point perfectly clear here. But Atlantic City, with Las Vegas, they put a lot of money in the infrastructure of building up and creating a touristy environment. Been there many times. As far as like the conventions and the whole nine, they put a lot of money there. Even right now they're building tunnels, whereas, during a convention, you could actually, instead of being on the road, you're off the road underneath a tunnel, driving from point A to point B, with the monorails and stuff. Atlantic City's got a long way to go. And my family members who live in Las Vegas have also said that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, in Atlantic City, I think that they value open spaces too much. I went to a church on Kentucky and Pacific that was a historic church. That Church of the Ascension was actually moved. Could you imagine a 3-story masonry structure that was built in the 1800s to be moved 5 blocks from where the hospital is today to the site on Kentucky? It had a basement that was about 20 feet deep on Pacific Avenue next to the Beltel building, the Verizon building now. They tore that church down. For what? Why would you tear a historic building down? They're so busy tearing down our history, our culture for flat land in the name of we were looking to be a pure. Wimpy taught us a Hamburger Tuesday is not worth one today, and they keep trying to give us a hamburger that's not even Tuesday. It's somewhere down the road. Somebody will want to develop that, and now it's a blank lot where a once historic church sat, and it's sad. And someone
I can hear your grandfather tendencies watching cartoons with the kids. I can hear
it. Listen, Scrooge McDuck said, "Work smarter, not harder."
All righty, another one. Man, y'all are good for the one-liners this evening, man. You know what? One of the things, and Dad, forgive us that we're talking local, but that's really important.
Yeah, that's all right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. It's about empowerment and being local. and it's really important for all of us to play a role in it. Adrian, living in where he lives at, he was trying to be assisting in trying to help make some positive change in his area. But the person he had on never came back on. I seen the family too, but nobody seemed to see him. So I don't know if he'll ever come back on this to talk about his point of view.
You talking about was that
Page?
Okay.
Yeah, remember he was going to bring him on. He was going to talk about it. We give everybody an opportunity.
I have another friend of mine, because I'm working on his website. I was up until like 2:00 this morning working on the website.
Okay.
So Danny Adcock, who's from Pleasantville, he's running for city council. So when he gets the opportunity, I'll get him on here, to give his his perspective on what's going on and what needs to be done.
I mean, while we're speaking local, let me tell you, that Department of Vital Statistics, what a pleasure.
You talking about my wife?
Where is she?
She's upstairs right now. She's probably, matter of fact, she's managing the chat room.
Brown nose over there.
Trust me, I'm always getting a wire like, yo, your boy was just here. I'm like, who's that? It's like, Jeffrey was there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right.
What a pleasure. When they say your better half, that's truly your better half.
Yeah.
Don't say anything.
She's in the background, right? Right. You say you'll jack you up, boy. Yeah, but it's all about change and moving and doing what we can to help one another. You talked about the website. I'm gonna talk to my brother to see if we're ready to launch out the website that we originally started for my campaign. But I think I think I have a better verse instead of Mo for AC. I think it's going to be people over party. You know what I mean? Because ultimately that's what it's about. It's not about the party Lang City brings, about the people that everyone forgot about. So we want to try to do what we can for her. I thought she was coming down the steps. She likes to creep up on me, my wife. Be slick and hit me in the back of my head or something.
Yeah, you have to get a good name that resonates with a lot of people, and that's what's really important.
Yeah,
staying behind that particular name.
I tell everybody the same thing. I said, look, if you don't know me by now, where you been?
It has to resonate, and that's what and like you said, you have to have a good forum, because I know a lot of people, in politics will be heading this way to get their point of views, on this forum.
Watching, I just got a note. So you know what? I don't know what you're talking about, but I will say that I do like playing words, and I like Mo for AC, because I would like to say you should do Mo for AC.
Exactly.
The play on words.
Right. That's what we play.
I love to play on words. I'm a wordy guy.
Very true. Very true.
Hey, Mo, you're going to like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You know what I'm saying?
If that becomes the website, we're never going to get a visit.
A lot of the, I don't know, John, a lot of the old guys from Funkadelic ought to know that. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Back in the day, Parliament.
But I tell you right now, boy, it's a pleasure to have this discussion with my brothers out there and my elder, because ultimately it's us trying to build the fortress that we need to around our women, and whatever we can do to safeguard our communities for our children. So it's really appreciated to have this conversation, candid conversation. She's about to throw something at you, Jeff.
No, you said build a fortress around her. I was just thinking about how good she did on the range last time.
Oh yeah. I imagine.
The other day, she's like, I want to go back out to the range. You know where that range is.
My wife wants to go to the range, so I'm scared that what might happen at the range. She might just have a click and all of a sudden forget and start shooting all kinds of stuff.
We got.
You better take her.
We got.
You better take her, because you gonna need some backup.
I know it.
We got 50 cal plates out there, so she's not going to be piercing anything. But I got a nice little short version. It's called an other now. It's between a pistol and a rifle. That's great for Jess. It's basically a rifle. It's an AR 15, but
pistol.
It's 16.
It's a pistol. Yeah, it's a pistol.
We call it an other in this state.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Other.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not a gun. I mean, the pistol is not a rifle.
Exactly.
But basically, it's an AR pistol.
It can still put a hole in your ass real big.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 2,200 feet per second, something like that.
Yeah. You're still shooting 223, 5.56.
Correct.
But it just got the little short barrel.
But it's short for little arms like Nikki and Jesse. So take her out. We'll meet her out there.
I know my wife too well. Trust me, she starts shooting, she's going to become a marksman in no time, and she'll want to shoot a lot more. And it's going to be part of our conversation. Oh, you want to piss me off? I still got my piece. All right, okay.
Yeah, just put it on a collapsible butt stock, and you got it.
I got
you. Jersey, no collapsible.
Oh, in Jersey,
we're not allowed to have muscle suppressors. You can't have collapsible stock. There's a bunch of things you can't have in Jersey.
Yeah, it's same thing here in California. But the thing is that when they give me lemons, I make lemonade. When they say, okay, well, you can't have a pistol grip, I got a grip on mine, and I have basically got so I can control the entire gun with just my index finger.
I hear you.
Oh,
so I can do the bolt release, of course, pull the trigger. That's basically it,
Deadpool ain't got nothing on you, huh? Dad? Okay.
They give you lemons, you making lemonade. I'm taking your lemonade. I'm tossing it in a can in the dark. I'm letting it ferment because I want some hooch.
I got the mix. I've been talking about it for a while. I got the mix. I just haven't
listen. Your boy Nick made me some Greek straight up moonshine.
Oh, trust me. Yeah. Soon. We'll be able to celebrate soon.
I gave AB a tasting today. He was
yeah. But fellas, it's 10:15. I don't know if you want to continue on. Maybe it's another topic you'd like to talk about. Adrian, you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's about it in a nutshell.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I give you an opportunity. If there's anything else you'd like to bring to the table. If not, Dad, say a few words for everybody.
Well, and I enjoyed you gentlemen, and I really didn't mind you guys talking about the AC stuff because I'm always up trying to learn something, something new every day. So anyway, so it was informative, and sometimes I get the urge, and people have asked me to, why don't you run for some kind of office? But I don't really like to be around a lot of people all the time, so that's probably not a good thing for me. But anyway, I enjoyed you, gentlemen. Most informative, and we'll see you next week.
Cool.
Be safe. Be safe.
Hey, Mo.
All right, you too.
Oh, if I have more time here, we might have to call it the round table for the round guys.
It's a lot of love. It's the pandemic sexiness. It's hitting us all up.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
Brother, say a few words for the general public, man. Whatever it is, it's your table right now.
Listen, the new norm is crazy. All I can say is do your civic responsibility, get involved, and do what you can.
Okay.
I just wanted to say one more thing to Jeff. I was in the construction business myself for a long time. So I gave like 38 years as a project manager, building inspector for the city here. So, and got a lot of construction behind me. So I can appreciate you.
I'm trying to look at the door. Don't
even worry about it. Trust me, because I think your bond is more so with the revolvers and guns. You get along.
The door.
I'm looking to retire in about 9 years.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, I missed you.
I'm looking at the door.
We're all in that same period. We're looking for the time when we can chill back like you can, Don.
Yeah, I've been retired for the last 14 years.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking forward to.
We're plotting our exit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Putting a last ditch effort to try to make the necessary change, and then fade off into the sunset.
Yep, that's what it is.
I ain't fading because I'm still crushing.
Puerto Rico coming by Rico. We're about to develop.
All right, Dad. Hi, Jeff. How are you, Jeff?
Adrian, close us out with some good, man.
Like, I was thinking about the CDC when those guys actually said about lifting the restrictions. As far as this pandemic is concerned, this pandemic isn't over, folks. We're still in it. Still wear those masks, social distance, and do what's right, because at the end of the day, it's your life. And that's what it
there
really
you
matters.
go.
It's your life at the end of the day. Your ass will be the one on that gurney, and you don't want to be that one. A lot of these guys are saying 1 out of 100. You don't want to be that 1 out of the 100. So do the right thing. And social distance, wear a mask, continue to keep doing what you're doing. We'll get out of this soon enough. But you just have to be patient. That's what it's about.
The
Like
dealio
I always say, be
you got
positive,
a lot of
negative.
you got a lot of folks out there that aren't getting the vaccine, and for whatever reason.
64% of Americans have not been vaccinated. 64% have not been vaccinated, don't plan on being vaccinated, and there are so many, variants out here. 2 and 2 equals 4, folks. Use some common sense.
That's right.
Common sense is not so common, Adrian. What are you talking about?
I'm totally familiar with that. I came up with that phrase. I came up. That was one of my favorite phrases. I said it earlier today to my girl.
Yeah.
Common sense isn't always common, and I'm totally familiar with that.
Yeah, I wish folks would have some sense. Period.
Thanks for letting me know there, Jeff. Thanks for letting me know.
I tell my children there's one thing you can't teach, and that's common sense.
And stupidity. Stupidity is just one thing you can't teach us.
Running rampant.
God. Oh, y'all are funny.
All right, guys.
Listen, I want to close out. Folks, we appreciate you stopping by for evening. Hopefully you've gotten some good information. Hopefully you were blessed with some insight about how life is going on in our lives. Hopefully you've been motivated to do some things that need to be done for yourself and your community. Because we're all in this together. Life is short. It's a gift. Treat it like that. Don't treat it like some cheap piece of shit coming from the dollar store. Do what you can to do, as Jeff say, do what you can with what you have. And like Adrian says all the time, be positive, but test negative. Y'all be blessed and have a blessed night.
Be blessed, my son.
Good weekend.
Night, everyone.
Good night.